What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That is your girl Adara in the lovely suit, and I am Sharif. And we're gonna wait for everyone to weasel on over from the other chat. We already have some early birds. We got the big spiled one. He's big style. He's big smile. Yes, he is big Kyle Burdett. Shout out to him, my man. What's going on, big spile? Shout out to you. Just trying to pause this thing that's playing noise in my ear. Here we go. We got Robert Botrix, MB3, and Juan Padilla. Enjoy the fun with Josie. I love that name. It's
I love that too.
Right on the nose, but perfect. D-Loaf, Jeremy Newman, Hey Davis, and Rob EV. Shout out to Cristiano Ronaldo. We got Trader Forever, my man. Adam Deluce, Day Trader Cut, joining us as well. Blue Arrow has flew into the chat. Oliver Castaros. We got Christopher Holcomb, the Piper, Other Zinc. Not this Zinc, Adara, the other Zinc. Airy Pages as well joining us. We got Mashworth, Vic Yan, Novak, and Airy Pages. We got Robert Woods, Brian Rubin, Desi Miami. We got Seth, Juan, Alejandro Castillo, and Dominic joining us as well. And Big Bob Dub. He's flexing on us, Adara.
He's big and he's Bob and he's making dubs.
He's making dubs.
How are you doing today, Sharif?
I'm good, Adara. It's nice outside. It's humid again outside, but that's all good there. Happy that Katina's celebrating the Katina man's birthday.
Nice. Yeah.
These markets are zigging. The markets are zagging. We have FOMC tomorrow. Obviously excited for that because get at least some direction, maybe with some crypto or some markets. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, I have a thing to tell y'all. This part of the show is brought to you by a Scary Hour. Shout out to Drake. No, I'm joking. I don't even know how this happened. Okay, I do. It was on my part, but I did the incredible feat of getting shut down before we even went on the show. No, I'm joking. I'm like not happy about it. It's gross, but I'm gonna show y'all the chart because that's what we do here at TraderTV Live. So this is Accenture. This is a name that in theory should have been an Adara trade, whatever. ACN, right? So initially, we get involved. We're gonna, like, whatever. We had the thing planned. I get in. The second I see this thing, when I get in this short, I should have known to get the heck out of the short. Did I? No. Was I able to get filled? No. So then I go long, and honestly, I do stand by the thesis of this long. My issue is I added way too aggressively at a weird point. Did not get out where I should have gotten out. It was yucky. It was gross. And yeah, we are shut down. And so, you know what? That is a wake-up call. That is like a whole cold slash water in my face. But you know what we're also about here on Trader TV is honesty. So you know what
Fantastic.
I mean? Yeah, Sharif, so I was listening to some rap on my hearing aid, ready to get going, ready to make some more trades. I still need to update all my side charts on the sim. Also, I will be in the sim, don't worry. Just to let you guys know. But yeah, so I will be, I got looking at SPY, looking at Oracle, looking at Broadcom. PLTR is looking great. Intel, I think part of the reason too I pivoted to Accenture is because a lot of my ideas I had already kind of come to fruition. Like the Intel reversion happened, Palantir reversion happened. But you know what? Like the market gives you so many opportunities. You just gotta get ready to get it. So I will, we're gonna be the comeback kid over here.
I love it.
What are you looking at here, Sharif?
I'm looking at
Apple.
Yeah, well, I held it from yesterday. I'll talk about Apple in a second. Funny you should bring that up because it is doing this VWAP bounce situation. But I want to talk about the small cap gappers before we start the lesson du jour. In case you're wondering what we're talking about, we are talking about head and shoulders patterns. We're talking about reversal patterns for the next 2 weeks. We're going to get really detailed with them. We introduced the topic yesterday. I'm really excited about this. The entire 2 weeks is going to be based on John J. Murphy's fundamental technical analysis of the financial markets, and that's what we're going to be basing it on. But before we get to that, I want to show you what the small cap gappers are today, because there's plenty, and lots of them are still tradable under my system. Let's start with the biggest, the baddest of them all, GLMD. Oh, baby. This thing was less than $4 at the close yesterday. We popped up until 11 and a fifth. We're doing the dance right now with 10, south of 10. We're still above the 10 exponential moving average. When I was saying 10 a second ago, I meant the $10 level. We're still above the 10 exponential moving average, which is on my chart 9 1/3. Here are the details on this stock. It is a $6 1/3 million market cap. It is very small. It's traded almost 50 million shares, 48 2/3 million shares with a float of 6.1 million shares. Let's find out what the short float is there using trade ideas. Shout out to Nos Boss and his crew. 6.5%, a little bit over of the of the float is shorted, so we'll keep an eye on this one. Not really like a parabolic type situation, but it is already moving very well. I want to see number one, does it give up 10? Number two, if it gives up 10, does it respect the 10 exponential, or do we have to come down over here for price action support? I like this area as a crest, 8 3/4, all the way down essentially till 8 1/4, because you can't really tell whether it's going to hold up at the top of the wick or the top of the body. So I'm unsure. I've got all the different levels that I like this stock already gleaned out. We'll see how we do on this one. 3 red candles successfully right now on the... Get it, Katina? How is it, by the way? So good, it's actually good?
What kind did you...
No, I don't want. Thank you, Katina, man.
I'll give the matcha one.
Are you sure? But I know you like matcha.
I know you love matcha too, so have at it if you'd like.
Do what you want to do, Sean. I will put it out. It's your B-day. His B-day.
He's like, I'll do what I want.
Yeah, so like if he wants the matcha, he should get that matcha.
Yeah, fair. GLMD, I like this one, Dara. There's a lot of others. AILE, this is a holdover from I think a couple of days ago. You'll see that we traded a couple times last week.
Cut it in half.
Oh, there you go, Dara.
Thank you.
I thought that was pistachio when I saw it on the site, hence why I got it. I go over there, he's like, it's matcha.
I mean, Sean also loves matcha.
I blamed Ram, because she's the one that told me it was pistachio, so.
I blame Ram. That is your solution to every problem. Blame Ram. But thank you very much, Sean and Sharif. I do appreciate the little moment of matcha goodness.
Awesome. Enjoy it, Dara. So AILE, guys, I'm looking at this one. It just printed the highs, $1.59. We're trading at $1.54. Again, this one's putting some respect on the 10 exponential on the 5s. Name every single print north of this 950 candle has not touched the 10 exponential. It hasn't even retraced into it. So it's quite strong, quite directional, and I'll be keeping my eye on this one. ZNTL, same boat, not the biggest percentage winner on the day, only 15 to 5th, in between 15 to 5th and 15 1/4. Had a big boy day yesterday. Look at that 7 a.m. move. It ends up giving back the entire, almost the entire thing yesterday. Closes out at 3 1/3. Very much an inside day today for ZNTL. We're ensconced with the highs and the low of yesterday, so I'll be keeping my eye on this one. Enphase, where is reliable Rudy? Where has he been the last 6 months? I need to know, because ENPH having itself one hell of a day today. Got off the schneid there, off that $111 touch right at the open. And now we're knocking on that 117 to 5th. Very good directional move for Enphase. Don't even know why this is up. Let's find out quickly, see if there's a catalyst or if it's kind of like an election-related thing with, these Solaire stocks moving as of late. Yeah, I know. A page out of
Is that an Obi one?
It is. He calls it Solaire. Yeah.
Okay.
So ENPH Adara, fantastic day for it. We'll keep an eye on that one. Talk is, it's given back a little bit of what it did earlier. It was putting in excellent higher highs and higher lows, gave up the ghost at all the moving averages, breached VWAP, for whatever reason, found support at that 50 exponential on the 5, not one that I usually use with these small cap gappers. PLCE also in play, up 22%, put some respect on this one's name. And INDANGTC. What a V-shaped recovery. So this one was whiffling and waffling in the morning. We were like, oh, wow, we're up 7-8% at 22.5. That kind of acted as a bit of a resistance area in the pre. Look where we are now. 22.43. We are 7 whole pennies away from that consolidation area top. INTC doing the dang most in a great way today at basically 10 a.m. and the buying hasn't stopped. Look at that nary a red candle on the 5-minute chart here from on Intel since 10 a.m. So that's a better part of an hour and 10 minutes, and it's at highs as we speak. Intel up 7 1/4, looking to basically take out the top. So Enphase, Intel, obviously not small cap gappers, but they are going to feature today on my side charts as Adara says. Real estate on the side charts goes for very expensive, Adara.
Yeah, you gotta be like, I don't play. You gotta treat those side charts with respect because you only have so many.
Anything you want to mention before we start the lesson?
Yeah, I am paper long Airbnb again to clarify, because you know what, I'm just gonna own it because that shout out to a very underrated Drake song, Own It. But yeah, so as I mentioned, there was a shutdown moment, obviously very early. It's like, it makes you question your life choices and reflect. But what it also does is make you push even harder. So we are long Airbnb at VWAP. This is a stock I already liked. I like that we had this push lower. I like that we come and sit all pretty here at VWAP. I'm risking 75 cents into 122. This is a trade I would still take live. It's the same type of risk and size I would take live. So I'm cool with that. Let's see what occurs here. I think if we break below VWAP, if I see anything I don't like in the book, plans might have to change because, like I said, I have not been trusting my read on the book enough lately. So we'll see how this goes. Right now, though, this looks pretty promising. But you know what else is promising? Well, A, you should vote for your ticker, please. Exclamation point join,
Please.
space, $ ticker. But also what you should do is, other than voting for your ticker, you should learn, Sharif. So we're going to do some lessons now.
All right, guys, we are talking about the head and shoulders pattern. And let me tell you, John J. Murphy loves this pattern. He says that it is the most, most reliable reversal pattern in his estimation. Whether you subscribe to that theory or not, we're going to talk about it anyway. So let's go. This lesson introduces the head and shoulder pattern, one of the most reliable reversal patterns in technical analysis. According to John J. Murphy, we'll discuss its structure, its significance, and its practical application, how we can actually use it intraday and swing trading to make some money. We'll also talk about the inverse head and shoulders. We'll introduce it briefly. Essentially, it is the same thing, just in the opposite way, okay? We'll also talk about volume and how it features in as well with the head and shoulders pattern. So what is the head and shoulders pattern? As we always do, we're going to start with the very basics. It is a reversal pattern that signals the end of an uptrend and the beginning of a downtrend. It's a visual representation, I should say, of the battle between the buyers and sellers. And some of its structure goes as follows. The left shoulder. The left shoulder is the initial peak, right? It occurs during an uptrend, but it is followed by a decline. That decline then rallies and it makes the head, right? So the price then rallies to form a higher peak above that left shoulder, which we call the head. It's followed by a decline yet again that ends near the low of the previous shoulder. Obviously, I'm going to show you what this looks like in a second. Just bear with me for 1 sec. And then the right shoulder, after we've formed the head, we decline again, and then we pump up again, and that pump is the right shoulder. And it is the last pump we will have on this pattern. So the right shoulder makes a rally but fails to reach the height of the head, hence why it's a shoulder. Then it declines again. So the neckline is basically the shoulder line. So as like basically like this. So my head, my shoulder, and then if you break below my shoulders, that's where the initiation of the pattern is. Talk about that in a second. So here it is. We're on our merry way, making higher highs, higher lows, but then boom, we make an area crest over here. We retrace, still making that higher low, and we make the big bulbous head. But what you really should be on alert for is if you get a peak on the right side of the head that doesn't quite make it up into the peak that made it to the head, to the top of the head. So this should be your indication right there. So once you pop up and then you start making newer lows, you don't need to enter the trade right away. And we're going to show you exactly where to enter the trade, but that should be your first hint right there. So let's talk about the importance of volume in this pattern, right? So volume plays certainly a critical role in confirming the head and shoulders pattern. During the left shoulder, volume typically rises as the market pushes to new highs, right? Because remember, we're in an uptrend at this point. So above average volume or increasing volume, completely normal. Then during the head, volume may begin to diminish when we're actually forming the head part of the pattern, which is basically a waning of the buying pressure, even though prices continue to make new highs. And then we get to the right shoulder, right? The volume typically decreases when you're making that top of the right shoulder. And what you have to compare to is you have two previous peaks. You have the head and you have the left shoulder. So the volume comparison on the right shoulder should be the easiest for you because you've got two other comparators right there. And then you get the break of the neckline, right? This is where most trading systems will tell you to get in. Not the more aggressive ones, but the ones that want to wait for more confirmation. So the break of the neckline, a decisive break of the neckline accompanied by increasing volume. So we've talked about decreasing volume so far. Left shoulder with most volume, head, lower volume, right shoulder, lower volume. Then the neckline increase, that should be where the big boy volume comes in. Right? So you're looking to confirm the shift to a bear market now or a reversal with increasing volume. It really helps increase the reliability of the pattern. So if the break happens So the opposite here, if the break happens on low volume, it may be a false breakdown and you should be kind of suspicious of it. And here's the look. We're going on our merry way. We make the left shoulder, we make the head, we make the right shoulder. Then we get that big boy neckline break upon the break of the right shoulder. And it is on above average volume. And you're going to ask me, how do I know it's above average? Well, there's so many ways to do it. But one super easy way, compare the volume bar on the break to its counterparts over here. The volume bars preceding it. Is it above average or below average? Simple. All right, so now that we know how it's structured, where the neckline break is, how do you use the head and shoulders pattern itself to find where to take profit? Because there's a measuring component here. So after the head and shoulders pattern is confirmed with the break of the neckline, traders seek to estimate the price objective or target, beak wet, or whatever you want to call it, for the downtrend. The simplest method I'm going to present to you here is to calculate the price target by measuring the vertical distance from the head of the head and shoulders to the neckline. Measure it in dollar values and then project that measurement down below the neckline. I'll give you an example in a second, right? Super simple. The distance is projected downward to the point where the neckline is broken. So for example, if the height of the head to the neckline is 20 bucks, so say 80 is the neckline, the head is 100. You're gonna take that $20 range from 80 to 100 and you're gonna project it down from 80 where the neckline is down to 60. And that's where you should be looking to wet your beak to take that profit taker, okay? You can also make adjustments. That's a conservative way to do it. Now, consider market conditions. If the volume on the neckline break is insane or like very, very high, you should be projecting even more downside. So what you can do is you can take like 3/4 of the position off at that $60 area and then hold a piece for the dream. Whatever. The point is to look at the volume break and the vigor with which it breaks a neckline. If it was really aggressive and on a way above average volume, you could be looking for a price decline even below that $60 level. So the measuring here kind of just the minimum. And here's kind of what we're talking about. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. You measure the distance from the head to the neckline. You take that distance, you project it downward, and that's where your beak wetter should be. Now let's talk about the inverse head and shoulder, the exact opposite of what we're talking about, but it's essentially, you're gonna find it at the end of a downtrend and it starts an uptrend. That's why we're not gonna get too into it today because we're talking about reversal patterns, okay? So the inverse head and shoulder is the opposite of the regular pattern and signals a reversal from a downtrend to an uptrend. Its structure, similar to the standard pattern, but inverted. It consists of a lower low, which is the head, flanked by two higher lows, which are the shoulders. The breakout, the pattern is confirmed when the price breaks above, not below now, above the neckline with higher volume, suggesting the beginning of a new uptrend. And your price objective here, your beak wetter, your profit target is the exact same way. It's measured from the head to the neckline and projected upwards as opposed to projecting it downwards this time. So that's the move for your inverse head and shoulder. And this is what it looks like IRL, or whatever the example is here. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. You measure the distance between the peak of, or the trough, in this case, of the head to the neckline, and you project that upward, and then that should be where your beak wetter is, your profit target there. Now let's talk about some of the practical applications that we can use the head and shoulders pattern every day or for swing trading. Let's go. Entry point. Basing it on your entry. So when trading the head and shoulders pattern, it's crucial to have a clear plan that includes entry points, stop loss placements, obviously profit taking levels, and confirmatory indicators. Those are the four things we're going to talk about, starting with entry point. So the conservative approach here for the head and shoulders is to wait for the neckline break. So most conservative and reliable, the most conservative and the most reliable entry point for the head and shoulders is after the price breaks below the neckline with strong volume. That confirms the reversal pattern. Your trigger for the entry is when the price closes decisively below the neckline. Just need one of these, Katina, man. Take more, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Oh, sweating up a storm over here. I don't have my water. So your trigger for the entry when prices close decisively below the neckline, ideally on increased volume compared to the right shoulder, a break without strong volume could signal a false breakout. This alternative strategy is way more aggressive. So instead of waiting for the neckline break, what you do is you wait for the crest on the right shoulder to form, and then you wait for the making of lower lows and lower highs. So essentially a rounded top pattern or a V pattern. And then so you get in there. And I'll show you what I mean in a second over here. So if this was not an inverse head and shoulders and this was the right shoulder, you'd be getting in once this started making higher highs and higher lows, obviously on the inverse. You wouldn't wait for the neckline break. And then your stop placement would have to go above the head. Or you could put it above the right shoulder, but then that would really depend on when you got in. Okay? So that's your aggressive entry. So most conservative commentators will say get in on the neckline break with above average volume, but there are those who are more aggressive that will get in on the formation of the right shoulder. And this is kind of what I'm talking about over here. So you don't wait for the neckline break to get in. You wait for that right shoulder to form, and then somewhere across over here, you're going to get your entry. It says to place your stop loss above the head. I mean, this is kind of subjective at this point. Thank you, Katina, man. I do appreciate you there. You can place it above the right shoulder, but that really, again, it depends on where you got in. My suggestion would be to put it on the head to give yourself a little bit of room there. Stop loss placement, we kind of just talked about that. Place the stop loss above the right shoulder. That is with the assumption that we're not taking the entry on the formation of the right shoulder, but rather on the neckline break. If you're going to take the entry on the neckline break, your stop placement is above the right shoulder, right? So the stop loss should be just placed above the right shoulder. This provides protection in case the pattern fails and the market resumes the uptrend. So for example, if you had a high on the right shoulder of 85 bucks, you could place your stop like at 86, give it that room a little bit. So the placement ensures that the market turns against you, the loss is minimized, and the pattern obviously at that point is invalidated. And there's the look. So you're basically placing your stop right above that right shoulder there. So left shoulder, head, right shoulder, you get in on a conservative method through the neckline break, your stop goes up here. So if it retraces against you, you're only out this much. Let's talk about the profit taker though. So the profit taker, we kind of already alluded to this, measure the distance from the head to the neckline, calculate the distance between the peak of the head and the neckline, and then that distance projected downward. I'm not going to go through that again. You guys get it. There's an adjustment to this strategy though. This is what I want to emphasize. So if the volume surges on the break of the neckline, like we talked about, if you got a big boy break through that neckline on way above average volume, you may expect an even sharper decline. So consider adjusting the price target downwards for an even more aggressive profit taker. So if that distance between the neckline to the head was 20 bucks, maybe you wet your beak at 20 bucks, but you leave a piece for the dream for maybe 25, 30, whatever. Okay? And there is the look again, simple. You're waiting for the neckline break, and then you're projecting from the head to the neckline. You're projecting it downwards from the neckline break, and then that's where you wet your beak. All right, so some confirmatory indicators to use, possibly when you're using the head and shoulders, because you don't want to put way too much reliance on one pattern and on price action alone. So what can you use to help? So the increase of reliability of the head and shoulders pattern, confirmatory indicators can be used to filter out false signals. The first one I'll talk about is the most important of them all, volume. Ensure that volume declines as the right shoulder forms and expands significantly as the neckline is broken. That's really what you're looking for. Low volume on the right shoulder, big boy volume on the neckline break. Rising volume on the breakout strengthens the signal. So that's what we keep saying there. Okay, so if you get that big, even higher than anticipated volume on the neckline break, you should really be looking for a bigger down move. The relative strength index can also help here, and this is a cool one. So RSI can help confirm overbought conditions in the formation of the head or the right shoulder. So specifically, you're looking for a bearish divergence between price and RSI, where the price is making highs, for example, the forming of the head, but the RSI is making lower highs at that point. So you're making higher highs on the price action. We know that because the head is higher than the left shoulder. So that goes without saying. But what you're looking at on the RSI during the formation of the head, is the RSI continuing to make new highs? Or is the RSI making lower highs while we're making the higher highs on the formation of the head? That's what you need to be looking for. And I think that that's a really very straightforward kind of thing to look for. Moving averages also super important here. The 50-day moving average specifically can provide additional confirmation. If the price is already trading lower than the 50 moving average when the neckline is broken, it suggests that the short-term trend is already bearish and it aligns with what you're seeing on the chart, which is a pattern reversal. Last and certainly not least, moving average convergence divergence, MACD for short. Watch for a bearish crossover with the MACD line below the signal line during or just after the formation of the right shoulder, right? So this indicates that the momentum is shifting from bullish to bearish. And to summarize the lesson, the head and shoulder patterns is one of the most reliable reversal patterns according to John J. Murphy. Volume is absolutely key in the validity of the pattern, and traders can certainly estimate the price objectives by measuring the height of the pattern from the head to the neckline and projecting it downwards. And the inverse head and shoulder pattern is basically the opposite of the head and shoulder, a transition from downtrend to uptrend. I hope everybody prints up multiple storms a day.
Yeah, I would like all the storms we printed. I think we always feel that on that desk. So shout out there to Sharif for putting together lesson of the day. I want to talk about the meta long because I'm sure you might see this in the position board and think, what is going on? And honestly, I kind of felt that punching into it, but I want to talk about why I like this trade because I actually do. Initially, I liked meta as a short. I have liked meta at that 530, 538 level for so many moons. You have to put that level on and off for like multiple weeks, maybe even months at this point. Meta does weird things around 538 and 530. Look at these wicks into 538. Look at that little pre-market top into 538. Right? Like you can even see it here. So the point I'm trying to make is these are levels I like on meta. These are levels I'm going to have my eye on when meta is kind of in this range. And I honestly, there's like only a few areas in which I'll trade meta. I'll take meta 500. I'll take meta in that 515, 518 level. I'll take meta here. Those are basically my only levels on meta, and I will keep riding those until, the Dallas Cowboys are like, hey, we need our horses back. I don't know. Weird analogy. But the point remains, initially I like meta as a short with these lower highs and these topping tail candles. But then I watched the book, and the way we gripped back onto 535 was really enticing to me. So I actually got long. I'm risking $1, which I'm aware is a lot, but A, it's meta. And B, look where $1 is. That's right. It's the previous low. So obviously I don't want to go stay there if we're there. But if we're like, I want to at least see us try to make a lower low. If we make a lower low, I'm obviously wrong. To me, this area makes the most sense for risk, both in terms of, like I said, I'm trying to work on risk units. So percentage of my risk, it makes sense on a chart basis. It makes sense on like a logic basis. So we'll see. Shout out to Logic, the rapper. I have no idea what that dude's doing now. But yeah, anyways, that is the plan for this trade. The book right now, kind of looking a bit bearish. I don't love all of the red coming into the tape, but this order book keeps glomming onto 535. I did not like that ask creep to the downside, but I like how the bid's trying to creep back up. We'll see what we do here, Sharif. The point is we're going to wait till we get stopped out in this trade. Airbnb. I will say I don't think the big floosh in the market helped the Airbnb trade. I'll put it that way. This is basically, we got stopped, I think it was like 10 pennies out of the money, and that's just because I moved my stop to prior bar low. Of this prior bar, I should have moved it also to the 123 prior bar. So that was some poor management on my part. Need to be more active about that. Other trades I'm looking at, though, I like Intel below the 90 EMA. And to clarify, these are all like stocks I was going to look at regardless of whether I was sim or live. I'm trying to look at less tickers, but these are also tickers I had planned, unlike the Accenture trade that got me shut down. So, Madeira, lessons, learning, growth. Think about it. But yeah, regardless, Intel below the 90 EMA, spicy, but we can't get below this really interesting chip top level at 2212. If we get below 2212, for the players 12, I will be very fascinated by Intel short. Palantir also looking kind of shortish to me. Like I said, Intel and Palantir were the two reversion trades I missed out on this morning. Palantir, I want to see what we do with the 90 EMA. If we break below, it's a short. If we hold it, it's a long. Those are my trades. Also, I am still in Meta. The other Mix 7 name I'm looking at that is not anywhere near an area I could enter it right now is Microsoft. I like the lower highs. If we have a lower high here at 437, I love the 430 idea of a 437 short from the open. I want to shout out Sean killing that long there. For me, I was like the way we were interacting with 437 in the pre-market. I thought if we break below it, it could be a level. This could be the way we do this. So we'll find out here if this is how we do it. Right now, we're just looking for opportunities, waiting for opportunities. Intel might drop in my lap. And guys, if there's any tickers dropping in your lap, like, hey, I want to get some advice. I want to drop these in Sean and Neil's laps. I don't like this analogy. Get to the chat and let us know. Exclamation point, join, space, your ticker. Let us know what's making you tick today, because if you don't, then how will you know, what Sean and Neil thoughts are in the ticker? You want that confidence, that birthday confidence? I saw someone in the chat this morning saying another year of confidence. Yeah, I mean, shout out to that. Also, we just got stopped out of Meta, so it's all good there. RIP Meta. Really should have jumped in that short, but I will jump in the Intel short. What trades are you jumping in right now?
Dara, I've been since you've been talking, I've been staring at the charts, trying to figure out something that I like and I don't like anything. But I have some discernible, or I have some analysis here to make on some of the names. Microsoft, lower highs, lower lows. Meta and Microsoft look like they're Meta looks like it's a V-shaped retracement off that 542. Microsoft, not so much V-shaped retracement, but both are putting in incrementally lower lows and lower highs. I did like a possible bounce into the 10 exponential on both. I like the one on Microsoft a bit better. This is the thing, though. This 200 exponential on the 5, 435.35. Do we bounce here, then we move back maybe into 436.75 where the 10 period is? I'd rather take the 10 period rejection as a short rather than guessing if we bounce currently in this area on MSFT into the green line right there, which is the 10 exponential. So I like Microsoft for a possible short. I'd like it better as a long at 434. 434 was kind of like that 8 p.m. top. We started moving big boy there on MSFT. Not sure why. I don't think this was an Intel headline, but 431 was where we were trading out yesterday at basically 6 o'clock. And then we popped up into 434.5. And then 8 p.m., we closed out 8 p.m. trading at 434.5, essentially. So if we come back into that level, that's a good area of technical support. I'm not going to have a resting order around there, but I'm going to be looking to go long on Microsoft if we get into that pre-market top. Or sorry, after the market top yesterday. 434.5 is what I'm looking at here at Microsoft. It's still going down. So that we're about to break 435 possibly here. So that 434.5 could come in way sooner than I expected. So keep your eye on Microsoft. Goggles is heading down. Meta is heading down. Amazon, not so much. Apple, not so much. Nvidia is heading down. The Future is heading down. Tesla is also on the way down. I got to say, it's Amazon and Apple that are kind of not really heading down that aggressively. Amazon is it the number one name? No, Tesla is still the number one name, 2%, followed by Amazon at 1 2/3. Apple certainly is the only negative name on the day. Maybe that's why it's consolidative right now, because it's already given up what it needs to give up. So, yeah. I don't have a trade, straight up. I mean, I would tell you, be getting into something, but I don't like anything currently. The other thing is, Apple is kind of bouncing off VWAP every single time it comes into there. I mean, for the exception of this 935 candle, look at every single closing print on the dead one is above the volume weighted average price. You've had to deal with wicks, though. Like, there's multiple breaches of VWAP on a wick basis, but nothing on a closing basis here. So possibly something there. Let's look at the small cap gappers. I loaded up a new one while Adara was dropping hot lines. It goes by IGMS. It just printed the day high, 22.35. It's going. ZNTL just had a flat top breakout. Don't have an animation for that. But there it is. There was all sorts of flat top at 425. It just blew through there, 439. ZNTL on the way. That is the mother of all flat top breaks. Look how many times we rejected off 425 there, only to really puncture it aggressively with that candle. GLMD also very strong here off the 10 exponential. Look at that bounce up, man. That gave you money. That gave you $1 like that. It was at 975 and it rocketed up into 1120. GLMD is on the way to new highs. 1120, I think it just printed new highs. It looks like it might want to halt here. Let's see if it halts. It looks like it is going to halt here. GLMD Did I give you guys the deets on this one already? Yeah, it is halted. GLMD halted 11:20. Start counting 5 minutes from now. Let's see when this one opens. AILE also trying to curl back up here off that. It's 20 up 20%. It got into the 20 exponential, and now it's trying to put it in higher highs and higher lows. So I got to tell you, I like these small cap gappers a little better today than some of my Mag 7 friends. So we're going to keep this side of the chart up, Adair.
Yeah, I am in 2 trades, and one of them was like brought to you by Adara. What are you doing? I said that because I wanted to get into Intel, like not where I had an order set for 2210s to go short. I don't even know what I was thinking. Of course, that would immediately get filled. It did immediately get filled. I still like this area, and I was willing to build in the position, so I'm cool with that. I'm going to risk it into 2235s. Because that's that kind of area where we had all this chip and chop earlier. We also had some wicks into it earlier. I stand by that risk area. Also, Palantir. Of the 2 trades I'm in, honestly, I think they both could be kind of dicey, but I like Palantir much better here. Why? I said I want to see what it did at the 90 MA. Palantir has now tried 1, 2, 3 times to break decisively below the 90 MA, and it does not give a hoot. It does not care, Sharif. It's like, Adara, I'm going to keep going up, and if you have an issue with that, like, cool. And I'm like, I don't. To be clear, I don't. I was not directionally biased. So I wanted to, on this trade, so I wanted to see what it kind of gave me. In this case, to me, it's giving me a long. We'll see what happens here. I'm risking this into 32s. Again, for the position size, this is not an aggressive amount of risk. This is the same I would risk in live. And like I said, you're doing like portions of my risk, right? And the other thing, too, that I've said, I don't know why this is. My buying power on the sim is obviously more, but I cannot take more than a certain amount of shares in the sim. I don't know why that is. It has nothing to do with buying power. I want to figure out why that is, but I've noticed there's so anyways, the point I was trying to make is I would probably take more size on this live. But we're taking this for the progress and the learning. And again, in case people were late, I am in the sim because I did some very, a censure led to the decensure of my P&L. And we did get shut down, and we are here trying to push back up because that's what we do over here on these markets. Also, Airbnb, I tried to get, and these are just like the same kind of tickers I've been looking at all day. Airbnb, I really did try to get short here at VWAP. I did not get filled. If we reject 122.70s again, because to me that was the level on Airbnb, I'd be very tempted to short because that was a level I liked earlier. Once that broke, we broke. Airbnb, like they were like calling, asking for their money back. They did not like, enjoy their stay at the Airbnb. So that will be my level on that. So Intel kind of working, Palantir, they're both basically flat. I can't even sit there kind of working with a straight face. They're just basically flat. Airbnb at 122.69s. I don't know if that's a meaningful level, but that's where it's at, Sharif. We're keeping ourselves entertained here. And if there's any tickers keeping you entertained today, let us know in that chat. Exclamation point. Join. Space.
Bang.
$, that ticker. Yeah, Meta's still really spicy. Also, I don't want to look at any other tickers, but to be fair, I was looking at Amazon earlier. Amazon, oh my gosh, oh boy. I have no other words for oh boy. I feel like every time I look at Amazon, I'm contractually obligated to say oh boy. Because I think this 188 could, if this breaks, I mean, I don't want to say it again, but I will, oh boy. So I actually might load into this Amazon here as much as I said I didn't want to look at other tickers. It was one that was on my watch list earlier. So I am okay looking at this for myself as much as, my instincts are telling me, Adara, what are you doing? My heart, my chart, and my book reading is telling me, yes, what are you doing? What else are people looking at here? Yeah, Elon saying any long signals got shorted immediately. Yeah, I think every time things look long, it seems a little bit fleeting, and that it does make me nervous on my Palantir. But I would say, compared like Oracle, RIP Oracle. Oracle just jumped off a cliff at VWAP. Palantir is holding that 90 MA, sitting pretty, waiting for its portrait. It's like, hey, do you need a different angle? Do you need a side angle? Do you need like a back angle? Like, yeah, okay, Palantir. But look at how Oracle like dropped off this VWAP. Palantir is taking like, portrait shots over here. This thing is sitting pretty at the 90 MA. Another failed attempt to break decisively below this level. I like the stock. Shout out to Roaring Catina over there. Sean, how are you doing over here? Sharif, what do you look
good. I was told by Thomas Johnson that there's a head and shoulders on the 30-minute on Nvidia, and the chart pattern person in me, Adara, just couldn't help but look. So we're gonna have to do this. We're gonna find out.
Oh, we will.
Let's go over here and put NVDA in the ticker. I'm in a position. I'm gonna talk about it in a hot second. Just allow me to look at this 30-minute. Look over here. Okay, I see what you're saying. It's not the cleanest head and shoulders, sure. Where would your neckline break be? Would it be over here? So tell me what you see, Thomas Johnson. I think it's a great day to talk about this kind of thing because we're talking about it today. It's not the cleanest head and shoulders I've ever seen. If you'd like to see a clean one, I got one on Apple for you, baby. Let me show it to you. It's on the daily. It's the gnarliest of head and shoulders. This one right here. Look at this. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, huadunk, all the way down. And that's a nice little huadunk. So if you got in at 225, the neckline break here is 216. You wet your beak nice there, 216 down into that low day. Mind you, this 196 low was in the pre, right? So you had to be awake early to do your thing, 25, blah, 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 right? But the point is, it manifested. But the thing is, it's still putting in higher lows, right? So I personally would say, look, it looks like a failed one. And when we also look at the neckline break on volume, that's the volume on the neckline break there. Look at the big boy volume we had on the gap up. So it's not the most perfect pattern, but I'd like to see something more like this rather than, on the Nvidia, kind of looks like a rounded bottom almost, to be fair. This is what we're looking at over here with the head, left shoulder, right shoulder, maybe even a cup and handle, to be honest with you. We'll see. We'll see. All right, we're nicely in the money here, and by nicely, I'm talking about 6 pennies in the money. On ZNTL, I'm looking at wetting my beak at 30 pennies. We got it in on the bottom end of the range. We'll see what comes on that. IGMS pulling back down aggressively here. Big move up. Here comes 20 bucks. 20 bucks is the volume weighted average price. I'm going long. Dang it, it's like way too spready. No, I can't go long here. 57's on the ask, 11 on the bid. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, way too spready. Was not alive to that kind of spread. That's coconuts for me, man. Not doing that. We're gonna leave that one. Let it cook. Let it do whatever the hell it wants to do. But I'm not involved in this one. It's far too spready for a small cap gapper. Staying away. All right, PLCE though I'm seeing here is going as well. All right, we printed a new high a day on PLCE, knocking on the door of 16 bucks, 15.90. I didn't give you the deets on PLC, but I did last week because this one was running. Children's Place, $200 million market cap after the latest PAMP. And we have about 3 1/5 million shares trade on the day with about 11 3/4 million share float. And the short float on this one is an eye-watering Adara, 55.84%.
Higher than last time.
It is. So it's getting, thank you for reminding me about it there. Eidetic memory, and that's kind of the benefit of having Adara on the desk because she's going to remember stuff that I wouldn't even know I thought about. Right? So this one is doing real well on the day, 30%. It's got all the right ingredients, the smaller float, the higher short float is up 30%. Keeping my eye on this one for dang certain, but need to execute properly on ZNTL here so we don't get in trouble there.
Yeah, I am getting into Meta here. Is it long? I was watching the book. I was going to go either way. Right now, to me, it's a long. So I'm getting long Meta. As I wait for my Meta order to fill, tell you about both my trades, which are actually shockingly maybe working, question mark. Again, I am in the sim today. I want to clarify, reminder there. And again, I will be tweeting about that. Do not worry. At Trader TV Adara. Okay, so the short. The Intel short, that is actually going okay. It does not want to break below 22, which is not my favorite vibe. But look at that 21.95 area. To me, is it right above VWAP? Yes, it is. Is it kind of an interesting area on a wick basis earlier? You got it, all that too. So I want to go short here. I mean, I'm already short. I want to take some profit here. Then I would be adding back to the position. We come back to that 22.10s area. That was, like I said, the area I initially tried to add or tried to get into this short and then accidentally that finger got in too early. But I like the position anyways, just why I stayed. So Palantir is flat. I'm acting like I have like big updates on this trade. I don't. It's flat. It's flat. It be flat. Palantir holding onto the 90 MA, like I said, and Jorge Alvarado was asking what time frame. I said 5 minute. To me, the longer this hold, and look also where it's wicking into and bouncing. Look at this.
That's a good
look.
look.
Support resistance flip?
Oh yeah.
I would say it is. So sorry, I'm getting a little excited here. I like this Palantir. Like I said, this is a trade that actually I would take more size on if I was live. So I would be, if I were live, I would have taken actually more size. I would have risked it into 40s. Instead, I took less size and I risked it into 32s. Just again, for my risk management principles for math and making the things math. Let's pretend that was English. But yeah, no, shout out to Sharif over here. Great desk partner. Also, Meta, you don't get a shout out because I was ready for you to fill and you did not do that. So, man. This is kind of meta for me. I don't know. Like what?
That was funny, Adara.
Thank you. Meta, though, I will go long here because I know initially whenever I wanted my 530. You know what? Actually, know what I'm going to do here, Sharif.
What are you
I'm
going
going
to
to get half the position in here
Randy.
at 35s. 535s. We're going to get the other half at 534.
Are you going long or short
50s.
there?
I'm going long.
Randy, we need the price to go up, please. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, Randy. And then what we're going to do is we're going to risk this into 534s. Now, I was been watching the book, which is why I'm comfortable doing this. And I'm also, this works for me risk management wise. With the size of this position, I highly doubt that last chunk will get filled. But if it does, then we're going to be pleased as punching either way. I'm cool risking there. Palantir working, Intel existing. SMMT is a good short today, says Garoff. Let's find out. Yeah, I don't know if I want to descend that summit.
Oh.
That's not really my type of trade. Oh, okay. Garoff, I agree with you, but I have a caveat, if I may.
Get it, Adara.
I think the VWAP projections here, beautiful umbrella handle pattern. Umbrella. Did you bring your umbrella? Oh, yeah, you might want to. We get another one. But then we get this beautiful support resistance flip here at 2620s. I don't know how long this thing can perennially go to the downside, right? We'll see. I think if there is an area it might flip, it might be this 2580 area. There's been some interaction here. I am not, I do not predict. I just see what I see and I look at chart patterns. So I'm likely wrong. Keep me posted on this one, Gaurav. I wish you the best of luck. And as we always say, I hope you print. Dare I say, I hope you print multiple storms. I'll say that. Yeah, in 3 trades, stop loss is set on all 3. Let's see if we get some paper money over here. How you doing?
Intel, I'm sorry. I see you guys. Apple is pamping. It's coming into an interesting level here, guys. This could be an interesting short on the dead one. 216.90 HOD. Here we go. We just weaseled up into 216.84. So 6 pennies off that. Is it the IB high? No, it's a little bit outside the IB. 10:45 is an hour after the 9:30 print. So remember that week we did on implied balance open. That is an hour after the open. So this one a little bit outside of that, but that's okay. It's still a technical resistance level, 216.90. I'm going to keep my eye on this one. That could be an interesting area here. I got into Intel for the bounce up. It looks like it's going to break down. So this could be a mistake on my part. I thought we were finding technical support at 222.02, which is the closing print from yesterday. We come down, we defend that level. So I thought we were going to weasel up. Looks like I'm going to get stopped out. All good there. We're going to lose a little bit here on INTC if it does breach me. Now I'm keeping my eye on Moderna. I forget who tagged me in the chat with respect to mRNA. mRNA is an absolute dang rocket on the day. And look at this, guys. Look at this. We printed the closing print 69.18. Today, the high is essentially 75, 74, 94, up and to the dang right with absolute respect for the 10 exponential on the 5, both here at 11 o'clock and then here not that long ago at 11:40. All the retracements have bounced off that 10 exponential on the 5 on mRNA. So we're going to keep an eye on that one. I'm running out of room on the side charts, but if I get stopped at an Intel over here, it's going to replace Intel. So that's a look there. Let's go back to the other one that we're still trading. We're about 2 pennies, 3 pennies in the money on this one. That ain't the move. I need to break above that 426. We already know that 425, 426 on ZNTL was a long resistance level before we got that flat top break. But it was a really short-lived flat top break there because we didn't have any directional continuity to the high side. In fact, we retraced. So that's going to be interesting. PLCE, though, all kinds of strong. It really is going here. PLCE is not letting up. Now 36.69%, really breaking aggressively through that 1540 top that it put in earlier at 10:30 and hasn't looked back since there. And it didn't even hold up at 16, quite frankly. So on the way up, no. I just got stopped out of Intel there. So Intel is getting replaced by mRNA. I'm not going to try and trade Intel. I've never really traded Intel anyway. Bamboozled me today. So I'm a little upset. We'll, obviously I'm not upset, but we'll look to execute a little bit better on the next trade. Let's flip back and see what this one's doing. Not a whole lot. So that's all I'm doing right now, keeping my eye on PLCE because it seems like the most directional of the small cap gappers there.
Yeah, I was just thinking I'm upset by Drake because I forgot that song existed. And also that music video, fun fact, is just him and the old Degrassi cast. So as a Degrassi head, I enjoyed that. Also, Meta. I like this long, actually. I am shocked. I am shocked. And the reason I'm shocked is, and to be clear, I am not in the clear yet for this trade. I know I'm not. I'm not in the clear till we break above 536. Because if we break above 536, that would be a higher high.
Okay.
Now, if we make that higher high, I am adding at 536. We have not, I'm giving this $1. That's how good I feel about this trade. Excuse me, Fly. I'm talking here. Fly's
Tell
like
that Fly to get the hell out of here.
Getting out my grill, Sharif.
You want me to kill it, Adara?
No, I'm okay, thank you.
Okay.
But yeah, initially the plan was to add at 534.50. I'm almost definitely not going to get that that dip buy, so I'm going to wait. If we reclaim 536, I actually think there's a better place to add. Why?
Pamp it.
Because then we would be pamping it. I know that you were saying pamp it for a trade, but also like I can roll with it, Sharif. Okay, Intel getting a bit of a bullish engulfing.
I hate Intel.
I was short Intel, Sharif. I mean, I'm still short Intel, and now this thing gets a bullish engulf. You know, oh, we should have moved our stop on this. I still have my stop at like 233.20 or 23.20s. I don't want to leave my stop in for that long. I don't like that. My trades with Intel and Palantir are making me snooze. They are pretty boring. They're pretty low-key, nonchalant. I'm going to keep my stop in Intel where it is because, like I said, I'm comfortable with the amount I'm risking. Same type of risk I'd have in the sim or in the live. I am in sim. But yeah, this meta trade, this is my white whale trade. I've talked sometimes about, like, you know, the AAPL, like the trade you're focused on, the trade you're obsessed with. For me, meta. But I will feel way better about meta if it breaks above 536. This is the second try since I've been involved to break above. The second time it has taken an L. Other stocks I'm looking at here, I might honestly just get out of Intel here because I haven't gotten stopped out, but I don't like the look on the book, and I have a feeling I'll get stopped out regardless. Also, the fact that we bounced off 22, like a whole dollar level, nah, I don't think I'm tripping for no reason. Shout out to a Bad Baby song that probably no one knows, but if anyone does, let me know. Tag me. But yeah, so 122.75s on Airbnb. That's another level I was looking at. I know I've been trying to look at less stocks, but I've really only been looking at the same kind of small little handbag worth of stocks. Not like I carry a big purse, it's like a small handbag of stocks. We got an Airbnb, we got a Meta. You know, we have like a small canister of Palantir. You know what I mean?
Fair.
That being said, Airbnb, I said for me the level is 122.75, so we rejected it, I wanted to hit short. Not only did we not reject, Sharif, we made a higher low off of VWAP. You know what I'm doing? I'm going long. I don't know why I sang it, but I stand by
okay.
I sang it. We're gonna go long 70. No, we're gonna do the exact same thing we did last time. We're going long 75s. We're risking it into 122s. Same position size, same risk, same reward. I like this look. And now I actually have clear levels of profit taking, so I feel pretty good about that. Palantir chillin'. Intel Palantir. If you would like to get me like even a cent of the money just one time, are you going to give me anything? Are you just going to lead me around, buy a leash? I have no idea, Sharif, but we'll find out.
Feel you,
on Palantir. Meta double topping here. Guys, please vote. Yeah, the rinse button. I deserve the rinse button for this morning because that was a mistake. But you know what, Sharif?
What?
They rinse you, but the tides also, they ebb and flow.
They do.
So that's what I'm
they
gonna say.
certainly do.
I'm not going to be like too down in the dumps about it. I'm disappointed in myself, but you use that disappointed to push you higher, and you vote for tickers, ! Join, space, $, ticker. Let us know what is making you tick over here today. I love this quote from Saudi. Tag someone else, but I just saw this comment and I really like it. In order to be an effective trader, you got to cut your losers. I agree. I think one thing too, though, is you have to cut your losers, but you also have to understand how much you're risking, because there are times where you move your risk management, like for, you know, you're being a little too conservative, and then you can get chopped up and create losers where you didn't have to have losers, right? That was my big issue. But for now, we are going to thank, not Buzzinga, shout out to one of Sharif's favorite shows, but Benzinga.
I love that. I never actually put the two together. Guys, are you tired of being late to the trade? Are you always playing catch up in this market? Are you missing out on the big moves because you're too slow to the news? Well, Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get those breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else and pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving. And yes, join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Are you ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? If so, visit benzinga.com/pro and get yourself that free 14-day trial. Shout out to the good folks there at Benzinga. Guys, I took that PLCE long and I'm happy about it. We took almost 30 pennies, 28 pennies to be exact. Where the hell is it? There it is. All right, so we took that through the break of 17, but as you can see, it's having all sorts of issues with 17. And as I look at my side chart, the 5-minute, we do have a topping tail forming, okay? Now, the topping tail can just mean that sellers overwhelmed buyers on that specific candle at that specific time. What you look for the confirmation that the topping tail is going to bring an end to the trend is the making of a newer low and decisive red candle following the topping tail. We're not getting that quite yet. We're still getting an inside candle right now. It tops into 1790. I was able to wet my beak a little bit below that. I got in at 1680. And excuse me, it is coming back a little bit down now. Now, first order of business on PLCE. I want to see what it does at 16, just given the proximity of $16 to the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, which is on my chart, 1588. That doesn't hold. I'm not going to have a resting order waiting there. If that doesn't hold, 1550, awfully interesting to me, owing to these topping tail candles that we had into the $half level at around 1030 or so, in and around there. So if this topping tail candle manifests and we start getting a bit of a downtrend and reject 17, first order of business, looking at 16 bucks. Second, 1550. We'll see what we get there, and we will not get upset. ZNTL, it's upsetting me. I'm kidding. I'm just joking. I thought that would be funny for a yeah. No, because I said I wouldn't get upset. Then I go ahead and said ZNTL is upsetting me. Look, we're in at 419, so we're currently break even on this name. I want to see if it holds up. The stop is already in place. A beak wetter is already in place. We've been ranging. I want to play the range for a breakout. If it gives it to me, fantastic. If it doesn't, if it rounded tops, then that's trouble. Here's the look. It is starting to do that rounded top. So look, now here, lower highs, lower lows, and you got the failed breakout through that 4 1/3, and now the candles are starting to curl down. You do have, though, the volume weighted average price waiting at 410. So given where I'm in, and given where VWAP is in, I will remove my stop, and I will be adding at VWAP, but that is going to be the end of the adding game. If it doesn't hold there, that's going to be the end of the trade, and we'll go negatory on it. But I am interested in this one because it is still trading above VWAP. I don't like some of the volume on ZNTL, especially as of late. The volume has really been dropping off. Let's look at this. So yeah, I mean, it's a $4 name. It's done 5.25 million shares. I need more, right? The average, the 5-year average is 1.87. So it's not that much higher. Okay, not bad. Not bad. We'll keep an eye on this one. I'll be looking to add at 410, but I do see a rounded top forming, and that's pretty much not a good thing for these small cap gappers. So ZNTL, we'll keep an eye on that. Let's see what else is going on here. So happy I didn't get back into Intel after getting rejected there on the 22 stop out. I was looking to get back in once it broke above my entry, but it's showing you that it wants to zig and zag, and if that's the situation, that I want nothing from it. Apple rejects that. So this is looking like a double top here, possibly on AAPL, or just a rejection of a key technical area or resistance area intraday. The reason I say that it may not be a double top exactly, well, we got to break this area over here, 216. That's kind of the neckline of the double top. You have that side, and that's the middle component. You got to get a decisive break through that before we start calling double tops. And quite frankly, we're still putting in higher lows. You don't need to be a chartered market technician to see higher low, higher low, higher low all throughout here. So even though you're not getting that big boy break through 216.90 or 217 or whatever the level is, you're still putting in higher lows there. So that's it. That's all I've got at the moment.
I was going to be waiting for that 536 ad, but I've said a lot of the time, if I see something on the book that is making me either giving me pause, like I'll get out of a trade early, or if I see something I really like, I will add. And I have no qualms. I'm qualmless about having unplanned DCAs. If A, I'm in the money in the trade, I don't want to add against me. And B, if I'm seeing something in the book that is making me feel really good about it. Meta cannot crack below 534.50. It cannot. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, as I say that, it probably will. But the point is, I still see this little reversal. I love this bottoming tail here. I think we've made a bit of a bottom here on the Meta one. So let's see if that Zuckerberg trade can board Meta platforms. Choo-choo. And we can keep pushing this one higher. I am taking some out here at 535.70s. I have the order set at 69s because A, what's life without whimsy? And B, I don't like to do like the level itself. You know, you want to go like set below those 10-cent levels. But let's see what happens there on META. Also, I think I'm in the money in all these trades because we have Airbnb here. Airbnb is like chilling. I know I initially said I was willing to risk to 122s. I changed my mind on that just because I don't think that's necessary. And I could still make it worth my risk management principles. So we're going to risk into like 122.30s. We're risking about 50 cents here for Airbnb. I will be taking some out. Yeah, I want to see what we do at 122.30. Or sorry, 123.30. Because if we break above this level, I'm absolutely going to be adding. If we can't, I'll be taking some out there. That's going to be the trade. Also, I shouldn't say in the money because Palantir is, say it with me, please, flat. Doing Palantir things. I was almost going to get out of this trade because I was so bored to death by what we were doing. But I said to Dara, you said if you were live, you would have risked this into 36.40s. I'm still risking into 36.30s, again, because of the size I took on this in the sim. But either way, I have no reason to leave this trade yet. It has not hit my stops. It is chopping and churning. Is it boring? Sure. Like, of course it is. But, you know, we've said before, we'd rather have a slightly boring trade than a trade that's working against you, right? Now, this trade, yeah, is it lulling me to sleep? Potentially, sure. Maybe it is. I'm not making the face that Sherry's making it hit at Moderna, that's for sure. I wish I was. But either way, I'm sorry to not mean to put your face on blast. I just enjoyed the excitement you had for the market.
I'm just lucky that the production team wasn't quick enough to put it on, right? That's where I got lucky, Adara.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't mean to put you on blast there, but also, you know, that's what we do here at the show.
What happened, Adara?
I don't know. I enjoyed that face. But either way, yeah, so Meta, we're going to take out a third here at 5. Like I said, we're just waiting for that B quarter, at which case I will add again at 25s. I like that 25 level. Meta, if you want to keep bouncing, I will keep adding, and I will keep subtracting. But you know what you do, sure, if you Maliva and you Malerna. So I want to hear what you're doing over there. In Moderna also, wow, I can't believe that's 74s now. I was trading at 65s last week, Sharif.
I'm telling you, Adara. Well, I think it's still got a bigger short flow, no?
It has a pretty good short flow. Yeah. That's why it moves like how it does.
Well, yeah, and it's got a gnarly little catalyst there. Look, the dude was on, I forget the name of the CEO, he was on CNBC, and he was talking up multiple storms about different avenues of cancer. What do they call it? Vaccines. I know that there's a whole bunch of speculation now about vaccines. Essentially, what he's trying to say is they've got a different product pipeline. All right, not just COVID and the like, and all these respiratory vaccines like RSV and some other stuff. They've got better stuff in the pipeline. We'll see. We just took 30 dang pennies on it, but it's breaking down now. So if it crosses 88, it's the last little beak wetter we're going to get stopped out on, and we're already stopped out. So it did take a little bit. So, hey, made a little bit more than I lost there with that little down move, but I'm still very interested on this because it is quite aggressively trading. If it does hold, no, it's not going to hold. It doesn't look like it's going to. Well, there it is, right back above 74. I want to see what it does with 74. So if it holds 74, I'll get back in. Otherwise, I want no smoke. So we'll see exactly what it does over here. Very good day today for mRNA, though. This is what the 5-minute chart is looking like. Let's load this up. So what's the game plan over here? Well, it's breaking at the 10 exponential. That's the only reason I got in for 10 exponential retracement, because we've seen what it's done over here with the 10 initially as well. All throughout the power hour, it was respecting the 10. This is the first time on the day it is breaching the 10 if this candle closes in this way. It's got 2 more minutes to close. So if it does break 74, then I'll have to look at different levels. There's a 20 off which I don't really want to base anything, but there is VWAP just south of 73. So if we get into VWAP, I'd like to possibly look at this. I won't have a resting order at VWAP there, but we will watch to see how it trades in and around there. So very interested in that. Let's talk about Microsoft for a second over here. I'm very disappointed with myself on this. I called this trade out and I didn't take it because I didn't have alerts out. We talked about this aftermarket consolidation area. For whatever reason, Microsoft was moving. I think it is Intel related in the aftermarket yesterday.
It had a $60 billion
Oh, that's right. What am I saying? I knew that. They have the dividend and the buyback. Thank you, Adara, for reminding me about that. 434.40 is where we closed out, or say 434.5 was the closing print at around 8 p.m. yesterday in the aftermarket. Look at this. Look at this. 434.63, coming pennies away from that level. I was alive to it. I didn't execute, and it gave you $1 plus. It gave you almost $1.50 there on that move back up. Looks like it's rejecting right now and headed back down. We'll see. I want to see if this area acts as an area of support or not Good look today for Microsoft, though, but giving back a lot of the initial move. Still up 0.9. Let's put some respect on that one. That one's name. Let's have a look over here back at PLCE. Still doing its thing. It's not breaking down, but it's not clearing 17 either. So I'm unsure exactly how to trade this. Zigging and zagging right now. Looks like maybe bull flaggish at 16.75. And then obviously I'm involved in the ZNTL trade. We're 1 penny out of the money right now as this one is curling back down. I will not be convinced otherwise. It looks like it is a rounded top. The only question is, does it find support at VWAP? That is the only, I guess, unanswered question for me right now. Let's flip back. I want to take off Apple and put in GLMD because this one is moving nicely here. And it's putting in higher lows for a possible break into 12. Now, this one topping tailed into 12.59. I do like this right now for a possible move back up. I'd like to add, if I get in here, I'd like to add into 11. I'd like to defend 11. It's been putting in higher lows and higher highs, just about how I get in with this one. And this one is going away from me already. It's leaving here. What do you got, Adair?
Yeah, I mean, you know what, Sharif? Rate cuts, they're on the horizon. We know it. We all know it here. And the market is about to shift. Just look at Nvidia, okay? You got it down 35% one moment. Then it's bouncing back the next. So to protect your gains, you know what you need? You need Moomoo's trailing stop orders. So partnered with NASDAQ, Moomoo is your top investing app. Unlike typical stop orders, ours move up as your stock rises, locking in profits before a drop. And it works for options too. Plus, enjoy 0 commissions, 0 contract fees, 8.1% APY in uninvested cash, and 15 free stocks. Don't miss out. Check the link in the description or scan the QR code now. Also, yeah, I'll pass it back to you there because I just wanted to do that.
Yeah, we just got 1186s on GLMD. It's printing 1215s. Here we go, baby. I love the squeezers. Let's go. Don't go back below 12, bro. Come on now. Here we go. Let's see if we can get a $0.25 print, Adara. We've been knocking on the door of 20 pennies, and down we go again. Now there's big size at 93. I want out. Do you see that? See how it dipped down? Look at that size. Wow. That came out of nowhere, bro. Oh, Dara bamboozled me. I suck. That's okay. So we take it out for profit, but obviously I got bamboozled there because big boy size showed up there on the ask. I thought that was going to be the nice big move down. All right, so we traded it incorrectly, but still profitable on it. This one's continuing to go, and here comes the $0.25 where we want to get it out. Yeah, I got shaken out of that. That's my mistake. Keep an eye on that one. This one's continuing to go, the guys. 213%. Really going over here, and it's got umpteen amount of, what's the volume on this? Already, 65 million shares, not that much. All right, so it is coming back down now, so I don't feel too badly about myself over here, but I could have traded it better, no question about that. We'll see. Here comes ZNTL into that area that I'd like to add in. So I'm going to put the area at 11 to defend that volume weighted average price, which on my chart is actually 11. So maybe I should front run that a little bit. No, I'm going to leave it where it is. Let's see if it can make it its way down there. No, let's go 12. We'll put it at 12 because I want to front run it just by a skosh over here. So ZNTL on the way down. Now, if this doesn't hold the volume weighted average price, I will not be DCing into this. It's going to have to, if I get filled here, it's going to have to hold VWAP. Otherwise, I want no more smoke with ZNTL. We're going to get out of there. Jay Lee, that is the problem. Getting the actual top is super difficult. You were very close, I think. I appreciate you, Jay. Thank you for the kind words, my man. Jay Lee, always doing the absolute most in a great way. Keep your eye out on his levels, too. He's always trading Boyle, UNG, always trading those levered nat gas ETFs, and he seems to know his way. We're going to want to shout out Jay Lee, one of the OGs in the chat. Tony Hawk, son of Lincoln, Sharif, on the small caps, how much more do you rely on the tape versus large caps? Just curious. Great question, brother. As you saw there, I relied on the tape to my detriment, but I think that is not a comment on the tape. It's a comment on my interpretation of what the tape said. So I
Interpretation?
Taption. Adara, I didn't get filled at 4. See, I moved it up, and now look, it's going back up, and I didn't get the beak wetter there. I'm very upset at there. No, but seriously, though, to answer your point, Tony Hawk, I think that's a great call. I like the tape for these large caps at key areas of support and resistance, because I want to see if there's size waiting for me there. And if there is no size waiting, then I like to see if it's icebergs. But with the small cap gappers, I think a lot of it is tape reading, because these so easy to move with not small accounts, but you can have like a medium account and really manipulate these stocks, right? Because number one, their short floats, their floats are so small, their short float can be a little bit higher, certainly, so it can be more volatile, and as well, they're a bit cheaply priced and not too much institutional involvement in them, typically. That's not a hard and fast rule, just some generalizations, but we'll see. Hard to answer for me to answer that question. I hope I didn't really give you an answer that made it worse than before, but hard for me to answer that because I think that there's just a little bit more nuance in there. All right, let's flip back to some of these other ones. GLMD continuing to go, guys. Keep your eye out on that 1260 though on GLMD. That's possibly a double top now. It weaseled up into 49s. Prior to that, it had printed 59s. So this, if we don't break the top, this could be an interesting area of resistance. So we shall see if this one retraces a bit. Over here. Shout out to Jay Lee. Boyle hit $10 finally. I'm still long from $8. Shout out to Jay. The NOS boss has been talking about UNG. He spies a possible double bottom and a rounded bottom maybe forming off that. We'll keep an eye on what Michael NOS has to say about UNG on Friday, but shout out to Jay. Saad Mahmoud. I have a question that's a bit different. It's normal. Is it normal for prop firms to require a minimum price per share profit in order to consider it a profitable trade? I don't think that's how our firm does it. Good question, though. Not exactly sure how other firms do it. I've never worked anywhere else. This is the only prop firm I've ever been on, so hard for me to answer that one. I think maybe some other traders in the chat would have a bit of a better answer for you than I would, because I've only worked at one. So what are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, we are in a couple trades here. We are in Intel. We got our first profit taker in Intel. And if you're thinking, wow, that's been a while. I entered this trade at 11:30. Yeah, we did just take our first profit in Intel. Also, I want to shout out your small cap trades, because
thank you,
that could not be easy trading these live in front of everybody, those small caps, those penny stocks. I want to shout that out because they move like, wow, we saw that. They're up, they're down, they're sideways. They're like making you question your eyesight. So I want to shout out, in all seriousness though, that trade. And the trades in general. So Airbnb is the new Intel for me, in that it is doing nothing, but it's still making higher lows. We're not getting stopped out. We're cool there. Meta, I did get stopped out on Meta here. I moved my stop up, which I think was fair given the fact that I did take some profit in this trade. I ended up getting out as we broke below 535s. Palantir, by some kind of miracle, miracle that I don't know I necessarily deserve, we did not get stopped out, and we had a stop order set, and I did not move it. And it was right around VWAP here. It was at 32s. Again, I don't know how we didn't get stopped out. We have not gotten stopped out. So Palantir, and as I say that, we probably will, but it's fine. Palantir we're going to stick with, but I want to talk right now about Intel, because Intel is the one right now that I think is kind of the most fascinating, the one I'm kind of trading the most actively as of right now. It was Meta. Now we're moving on to this Intel. So Intel, I added, like, the way we broke below 22, we like smashed below that thing. So I really do want to add to this position here if I can. I'm going to double up, basically like adding a little bit more than what I took out here. My next profit taker is going to be 2180s. I'm also moving my stop up. I'm going to move it to par bar high in the 5 minutes. So that would be 2206. I'm not sure I'm going to get added on this.
Dara, can I mention something?
Please do. Yeah, no worries.
Jay, thank you, Darwin, the OG Darwin, dropping this in the chat. This coming in not that long ago. It's coming in at 12:11. So it's 12:13 right now. JP Morgan in talks with Apple to take over credit card from Goldman. We already know that Goldman want to get the hell out of consumer credit card lending. Reports the Wall Street Journal. JPM possibly looking to take over the credit card business from AAPL. I got to tell you, neither one is doing much volume, JPM just bounced off VWAP 208.75. It's been defending VWAP all day. The dead one is doing nothing on that move either. AAPL, JPM, neither one moving, but it is a headline I thought I should cover. Sorry to interrupt you, Adira.
No worries. Thank you for letting us know. And also, that reminded me, we have a super chat here, a member chat, 46 months member here, Broad Street Wolf. Just wanted to say thank you to Trader TV Live. Been with you guys from the beginning. Was a guest trader in 2020, and I've been able to quit my 9 to 5. Wow. Thank you so much. We have love for you as well there. Thank you so much to Broad Street Wolf for the kind words and for that super chat. We do appreciate everybody who comes in washes and supports. That is awesome there. But yeah, so Intel, I actually did move my fill here because I was initially like, I want to get short just above 22s. I was like, that's weirdly specific, Adara. If you don't want it to break above 22, and this goes to something Sean told me a while ago, like before I even went live, and it was like, if you don't want it to hit a level, why are you setting your entry point past that level? Like, why are you adding past, right? Like, wait, get just before. So if I don't want it to get above 22s, it makes no sense to add at 22s. Alas, I added at 21.99s. Bless you. So yeah, I would love to see us crack below VWAP. That would be dope. Right now, as I said, I've been moving the stops. I'll continue to move the stop on this to prior bar highs. Please just punch with that. I would love to take some profit there at 21.80s. Let's wait and see what happens. I have no interest in taking any profit out earlier. Palantir, you're going to stop me out? You're almost there. We'll wait and find out. Airbnb, chugging along. Airbnb's finally found its way to its hotel. Like, the booking was about to get canceled. They're like, yo, where are you at? Like, are you here? We got other people who want this Airbnb. We had the cleaning people come. Where are you at? And finally, Airbnb was like, oh, right, sorry, I slept in. I'm good. I'm here. Thank you, Airbnb. Appreciate that. I do love this bottoming tail candle here at VWAP. I like the higher highs and higher lows. Like I said, I'm waiting to see what we do here at 23, 27s. But I was using the 3-minute, like the last time I was in the trade, I was really using the 3-minute to kind of look at areas that might be interesting for profit taking. I would love to take profit at 123. But before that, Airbnb would have to do, drum roll please, something. I don't know what it has to do, but I would like it to do something in either direction. Please do something for me. Airbnb. Sorry, I said Palantir, I meant Airbnb. We get stopped out of Palantir. Finally. What were we waiting for? I honestly should have gotten out of this trade. I was like, oh, but it hasn't stopped me out. It's like, yeah, Dara, this thing's on the move down. Get into the short. I did not. So I should have probably aborted this trade and gone a short on this trade. I did not. It's all good there. Meta pushing lower. Microsoft. Really fascinating here. That was the other Make 7 name I said I had like heavy eyes on today. Amazon a bit as well, but Amazon honestly, like it's not an oh boy, it's a oh boy. I don't know. It's existing. But Microsoft, wow, Microsoft here. Okay. This is I've always called this look really bullish to the point where I would call this a playbook trade for me. When you have a double bottom, but the second bottom is on a wick basis. That means this was so strong we couldn't even close there. We're just wicking there. We're just visiting. Oh. It's the same to me. It's super bearish if you've got a double top and the second top is only on the wick. That means we could not even stand there. So you know what, Sharif? What? I know I don't want to get any more tickers here today. Okay. But I like this Microsoft. So we are going too long the Microsoft. Okay. And if it holds 535, or 435, which it can't. So you know what? Cool, Microsoft. Let me make time before I make my decisions. I respect you for that. But yeah, we love all our viewers here, as we said, and we have an audience segment just for you guys, brought to you by Real Trading, exclamation point, join, space, $, that ticker. Good times there. We also Kryptonian shutting out Airbnb, apparently for the boys' bachelor party, so good times there. Also, there's a question here from someone in the chat here. Who was this? Mark S. asking why I thought, what my thoughts were for the upside and the stop on Palantir. Oops, yeah, so for upside, I liked at the time it was holding the 90 MA pretty nicely, and we were on an uptrend. That was the thought for the upside. And I'm going to switch to the 5-minute because I think I think the 5-minute's a bit clearer. Also, for the stop, I liked it here, not just because it was VWAP, but also look at that kind of hold here, that 33.32 or 36.32s, all of these wicks up, then we decided to quit doing. So to me, I thought that would be a decision point, and it actually was, because we didn't get stopped out right away. Then we ended up getting stopped out. That was a thought for this trade. Like I said, I would have taken more size and had a more aggressive stop had I taken it live, but I took less size here because, like I said in the sim, for whatever reason, it's not about buy power, it's just it won't let me take more than a certain amount of shares. So that was what happened there with Palantir. Intel, though, shockingly is working. So I am pleased as punch with that. You got to believe in yourself and your trades, whether you're live, whether you're in the sim, or whether you're like in a quarter. I don't know. How you doing over here?
Good, Adara. I just got into Apple as we dipped down into 19.7. We're literally at that IB low. We printed below the IB low, okay? So the print now on the NQ December contract, I'm not talking about the September contract no more. 19.749. Oh, sorry, that was the high. What am I saying, bro? The low, 19.705. The previous IB low, it looks like I might get stopped at Apple here if we break. The IB low at 950, it's not showing me, give me a second, is 19.709. So we're like literally right there at the IB low. Let's see if we defend 19.7. We're not going to give this much room at all. It's going to have to defend generally that 216 area. We're long 09s. We're printing 02, so we are out of the money. The volume weighted average price is there. 19.7 is there. If we don't get support, we don't get support. I'm at the point where I want to enter with the least amount risk, given where I put my stop. So if we get a bounce, fantastic. If we don't, we don't. Let's have a look there. Now, let's go back to ZNTL. We're still nursing this trade. We got the ad that we wanted. So I did get stopped out of Apple there as we breached 19.7. ZNTL, I did get the ad I wanted at the volume weighted average price. 416 is what we're printing right now. I have 412s. I'm negative on this name. So I'm trying to work my way out of it, but I've already been stopped out twice, of this bad boy. Right back above goes Apple at 216. Let's see if we zig and zag with 19.7. I'm keeping my eye on the NQ December contract. We are at that 700 point level. We are still positive on the day. I'm going long. Let's try this again. Let's see if we can hold up 19.7. If we don't, I'm going to have to send it to you to put my stops.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, that's fine there. It's also funny. We get a bit of a move down in the market. And you know what does not weirdly move down is Intel. Intel's like, guys, I've been moving down. Like, give me a breather, okay? Let me breathe. So Intel, I moved my stop, as I said, prior bar high in the 5 minutes. So now we're getting stopped out at, oh, there's a new bar now. Okay, good times. Well, now it's going to be 21.99, so I'm going to have to move that. That's the one thing I need to find a way to like naturally move these stops without, because I mean, like sometimes I miss the next prior bar and then I'm like, oh, what? And then you get a doji, and then you're like, oh, why did I? That's a weird place to put your stop. Anyways, just a dare of things that keep me up at night. Quite literally, I do think about these markets quite often. But yeah, so Intel, we're chilling here.
We're gonna give it up.
Hopefully, we get another printel at that 21.80s. The bottoming tail candle I don't love, but I have no reason to leave because I have my prior bar high stops and I'm going to be chilling. Airbnb will probably be getting me stopped out here in a moment. I should have arguably stopped this out more aggressively, but like I said, what I've been trying to do is taking trades in percentage of risk, so risking a percentage of my total risk instead of like random willy-nilly numbers, which is what I was doing before, and arguably a little bit what I did in that Accenture trade that got me shut down before the show even went live. So learning, living, laughing, loving. What Apple just sinking below the 90 MA. We've got a lot of sinking in here in this market, Sharif.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Were you able to set your stops and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got stopped out again.
Oh, I got stopped out at Airbnb as well, and Intel's still trucking. But yeah, no, I mean, do you want to talk about this Intel or that? Because I didn't want to cut
Intel
or anything.
You mean Apple?
You're in the Zentel or the Zentel.
Oh, Zentel. I heard Intel. Yeah, I'm doing okay on that. It's moving up into 420. I've set my beak wetter up at 423 to take some profits out there. I know full well that there's resistance at 425 and 426 a there, so I'm not going to look to take my. I'm looking, to take out some before there, knowing that we could reject off that level. But nice move up off the volume weighted average price, but it's going to have to continue. 420 ain't going to cut it for me. We're going to print a little bit higher. But this market just gave up 19.7. And now the next level that we're looking at right now is this level. And it is just breaching to the downside. Lots of selling over here. 19,665 is the closing print from yesterday. On the December contract, we are now negative 0.04% below that level. Big move down right now on these here markets as the market takes a bit of a flush during the midday. Nice looking pattern over here that ended up giving way at 750. Good look there. Shout out to the spiled one. Big Spile Burdette. Is the mic broke? Can no one hear me yelling, get down? Shout out to Big Spile. I think that's how you would have done it. I don't know. Is that how you would have done it, Big Kyle? Or do you have your own unique way of coaxing the market into Redsville? Shout out to the Big Spiled one. He called this one earlier. He was telling me that he felt the market was negatory, and all the Meg 7 names, without exception, guys, all now below the volume weighted average price and all looking a little bit downward. They're not all red, though. The only that are red, that are red on the day. Apple, Meta, and the monster Nvidia. The rest are Greensville, with Amazon leading the charge up 1.17, followed by Tesla. But yeah, all the chart patterns looking poop right now, dear.
It's not prepared for that to be the way you
see poop.
Yeah, shout out to C Poop, long C Poop, short. No, I'm joking. As I probably wouldn't touch C Poop. Actually, you know what, Sharif?
Yes.
For fun, because we're a show, let's look at C Pop and see what that is actually doing right now.
It's poop, Adara.
Because it's doing. Sharif is doing a wonderful 3,000 shares on the day.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it is. Let's look at the daily chart for CPOOP.
Oh my God.
Oh, this is what I call a downtrend. Lower highs.
You mean you don't like that
Lower
chart?
lows. Pardon?
Fantastic looking chart.
I mean, right? Like, if you're short, it's a fantastic looking chart, Sharif. But yeah, shout out to Big Kyle for that. I also, like I said, I love being part of this community. This is also why I always, you know, I think it's great that we get to have our audience segment. Please vote for that. But one thing too, is yeah, you get to like hear and learn from different people. And so I want to shout out Mark S, who was, you know, asking about my rationale for my Palantir trade. I was explaining it. Then he was like saying what his rationale was for his Palantir trade earlier. So I think this is one of the great things about this community. You can kind of like share thoughts, share ideas. Also, I did not get stopped out of Intel because I wasn't able to move my prior bar high yet. But honestly, I have to move because this would be above the prior bar high. It just, there's a new prior bar. I got short. I mean, I got out of my short here. We did not want to crack below 80s. And maybe I got out too early, but it's like either way, I have to respect the fact that if I had been more on my game and if I had moved that stop to prior bar high where I should have, because it just hit 12:25 now, so it's a new 5-minute bar, then I would have gotten stopped out. So it's like the other times where I've been like, oh, I haven't moved it in time. No, it's like, no, then you're cheating your stop. If you wanted to have your stop at the prior bar high, stop it at the prior bar high. Oh, are we still? Oh, yeah, okay. I forgot that on the sim, it weirdly will never fully fill me right away, and then I accidentally stay in trades for longer than I need to. But either way, I didn't want to be in this trade anymore. I said that, so we're going to be getting out of this trade. Fill me, Intel. Let's find out. Also, I am short Meta. I clearly did not realize I was short Meta and would have gotten stopped out of Meta because I wanted to get stopped out at 532. So pretty yikesy risk management here on my part. We're going to have to get out of this trade as well. Again, guys, I am in the sim. I am not proud of the trading that has happened today. Honestly, like in the sim, in the live, that was a pretty small position on Meta, but that's not an excuse. That is some yucky trading. And so that is why you live, you learn, and you try to get better every single day. And again, like that's why I'm all about accountability here. Well, you know what? All have good days, all have bad days, and I like to be able to share those days with all of you here. Everyone learning over here together. So Forex AU saying they've got someone new they're introducing to the channel. Shout out to Allison. I don't know who you are, but shout out to you over here. Also, Mark S asking another question about my Palantir entry. You mentioned a hold of 36.35. Why would you not have a stop at 36.34, or why did you enter at 36.50? Yeah, so I think I mentioned I entered because I liked the hold. Maybe I didn't mention this story. I mentioned it earlier. I know I kept waxing poetic about it earlier, so that's my bad. We were holding the 90 EMA gorgeously. So at the time, the 90 EMA was like here. We had, I guess it still is. We had all these wicks below it. We held it really nicely. And also, Mark, if you look at where we bounced off of, it was that 36.42 level, right? Like that, to me, support resistance flip, it was gorgeous. And it was really holding there very nicely for a really long time. So if I traded this live, because like I said, I could take more size live for whatever reason, I would have risked this into 36.40s, which is kind of that level where we had some other interaction here. But arguably the 36.30 area still made more sense to risk. And as I said, that's because of VWAP, and that's because of this chop and turn area earlier. And as I said too, I've been using areas, sorry, my brain turned off there for a second. I've been trying to risk, instead of like random levels, a percentage of my total risk allotment. So that's what I did there with the Palantir trade. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask, because I do want to make sure all my trading is clear for everybody. And I learn a lot by explaining my trades out loud for everyone. Yeah, that Meta chop up was gross, but you know what you do, Sharif? You fall down, you get back up. As Cardi B says, knock me down 9 times, but I get up 10. Oh, nice. So, yeah, good times there. Let's see if Meta wants to get up 10, because I like what Meta's doing here at 533.60s. And I like this Apple. We'll see. We'll see, Adara. We're looking to wet my beak very soon here. But this is a trade I'm proud of, Adara. PL dang CE. Look at this area. Support 1540. We're waxing whatever about this level earlier. Look at this. Round at top, comes, bounces exactly off that level. My alert goes off. I go and look at it. It's already 20 pennies higher. I'm like, nah, you're not leaving without me. I punch in long, 1570. We took nicely 50 pennies on this name, quick as you like. That was the top. I didn't take 50 pennies on the entire thing. Got in 1570, got out 1620. I'm happy with this trade, but it was a quick scalp off a key area of technical support. That is that 1540 area. Why? I don't care, but I know that it did reject off there before clearing it at around 1140, comes back down, tests it, and bounce. That's all I need to know. Now let's have a look at the dead one Apple. Did we print on that one? Yes, we did. So we took a little bit of a beak wetter off that, let's call it
area bottom, 215.50-ish or whatever in that area. The market also finding support right now. The NQ is what I'm talking about when I say market. At that closing print from yesterday, we talked about that 19,663. It does wick, double wick actually. Look at that into 650. But look at the closing print and the opening print on both candles right at that level. That can't be by accident. Let's see if we continue, but it looks like we might sell again. Oh, baby, we're headed down again, Adara. So there's a lot of zig and zag right now. If this breaches 60, I'm gone. That's where I put my out on this one, but it looks like it's bounced. Wow, man, this market is just, Apple's not the dead one today. It's zigging and zagging everywhere. So we're out of that one for the last remaining amount. So that's all good there. Let's go back into PLCE. This one's also curling back down, possibly here to breach 410. If it does, I'm out of this trade. It did bounce back up at the 420. We thought about wetting our beak. I'm negative on it. I'm trying to get positive on it. If I can't get positive, I'm going to take profit at 420. So if it breaches that 410 level, we're going to prevent any more bleeding on ZNTL, but it is really rounding down. The only thing really keeping me in this trade is still above VWAP. Zigging and zagging right now is Apple at 215.50. That seems to be an area support level on the day. Don't know why, don't care. But there is umpteen amount of candles off this 215.50. You have the initial bounce off that level at 9.55. You get another bounce at 10.10 and another one at 10.15. Then we get down there and then we're doing the same bounce off that 215.50 level. So interesting. Let's see if we can bounce back up. We're below VWAP right now on AAPL and definitely negative and 1/3% on the day. So bounce is great. Does it? Doesn't. We'll have to see what we get on this name. Let's flip to some of the other small cap gappers, see what's afoot on these ones. Yeah, look at ZNTL right at that VWAP. And I mean, this is the mother of all. Well, I mean, it's not the mother of all, but it's definitely around the top. Certainly there. The only thing keeping this, I guess, from tanking anymore is the fact that VWAP's there. Who knows? Maybe somebody's buying it at VWAP, but I'm not going to hang out much farther below VWAP to find out if anybody will or won't. If this breaches a level, we're gone on a ZNTL. Wow. What else we got over here? Okay, so mRNA is coming into VWAP. So this has been strong on the day. What is Moderna up on the day percentage-wise? Let's find out over here by weaseling down into my pharma and biotech stock. So 6.1% on this name, not a bad look at all. And it is finding, at least for the moment, some support. I put the alert at 73.01. It didn't trigger. It's at 73.38. It still really hasn't put any new 5-minute candles, but it looks like it's pumping up now. Oh, come on, Apple, bro. Kidding me? Yeah, a lot of bamboozlement right now. It's okay. So there's the look on Moderna on the 1. I'm looking and charting off the 5. It did hold VWAP. It's putting in what looks to be a kind of a hammer candle at the moment. Is there enough oomph in this market to bounce off VWAP on Moderna, maybe weasel back up into 74.5? We definitely had some resistance intraday, at least after 12 o'clock, at that 74.5 level on mRNA. Are we done going down here on Moderna? I don't want to, try to guess whether we're not. Tough situation over here at Dara. Hey, Davis asks, did we miss the entry long for Tesla, brother? But I haven't even looked at Tesla today, so I don't want to mislead you and give you some false sense that I know what I'm talking about with respect to Tesla. I've been looking at two large caps today. That was Softy. I missed my entry on Softy, and I've been trading Apple, and I'm negative on it. So I haven't had anything on Tesla. I need to focus right now on Moderna because I'm very interested in taking this VWAP trade, but I don't want to just jump in without proof that it's bouncing off VWAP. I'm going to wait, as my friend Neil likes to say, getting it on the back end, let it print a couple of green candles, showing you that it's going to hold up there, then we can get involved. But I don't want to guess with Moderna because it can move quite aggressively and I can get in a lot of trouble.
It can.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Moderna's a violet one. That's like, it's going to shoot you with its like little vaccine. Like, running after you. Can't believe it's already 12:30, Sharif. Also, we do have a auction at 1. I'm going to look up which one it is because I know we have one, but I don't remember its identity. Yeah, we have a 20-year bond auction here.
Identity,
also, I wanted to look at Eli Lilly here because someone in the chat was mentioning Lilly as a potential, college physics for everyone.
I like that.
I like that. It's very equitable. Everyone should be having college physics. Saying, might want to take a look at Lilly long. So, here's my thing.
What?
I drew a line here at Lily. To me, there's some clear support resistance flip here at 908. However,
Hitting me, bro.
where I start liking Lily is if we reclaim 908. Now, why? I trade a decent amount of Lily. When I'm not looking at Lily, I'm certainly charting it. I talked about that one day, that 911, like 50 to 912. That to me is a crazy level. So here's my thing on Lily. I don't think it'll happen, but if it reclaims 908, I go long 908. You take that thing into 912s, then you wait for that thing to push higher. That would be my only look on Lily. I'm not touching Lily till it gets to that point, but that is my answer on with regards to Lily long.
Okay.
Yeah, anyways, that's my rant on that. Rant over. I am long Intel right now. And I know I was short Intel for a period of time. And being short Intel actually is, and I've said this sometimes, I think one of the best things you can do is kind of be in a trade, experience how the ticker moves, and then if you get an opportunity to reverse it or play it a different direction, then you know what levels are going to be spicy.
Okay.
I always find that really cool. So for me, the first spicy level in Intel is 2210s. To me, once we broke below 2210s, the short was really, really on. I'm not taking any profit out at 2210s though. That's not enough for me. What I'm waiting for is the smoke at 2220s. So that was another really spicy level for INTC. Also in terms of why I got long. So I was waiting here. I was waiting patiently with my peak wetter. Shout out to peak wetting at 2180. That's like 21, what is this, 82s, 83s? And we pushed up hard. So I said, Intel is pretty strong here. I like this push up VWAP. I liked our little peeking our head above the 90 MA. Now, we have made not one but two topping tail candles now with the 90 MA. Is that a great look? No, that's kind of ugly. But I have no reason to leave unless we get below 2186. Why? Because that would be a lower low. So that's where I'm setting my risk. It also makes sense with regards to how, like I said, my risk units and all that jazz. We're taking out a third of the position at just below 2220s. I think that might be maybe a bit aggressive, but sometimes you got to be a bit aggressive. And I think we know Intel has already, we made a move here. Okay, we push up, then we made a reversion, then we made a reversion. Now we have another reversion. Now, I am not Obi, so I don't know all the reversions, but I would say this would be a reversion of the reversion of the reversion of the reversion. This is like reverse-ception. So to me, we know Intel likes to revert. I'm going to keep playing this V-shape to the upside, the downside, and the all-around side. In this case, we get that upside move. Let's see what's crack-a-lackin' there. Palantir, another name I tried to play. Like I said, I wanted that reversion to the upside earlier. Wasn't able to get it because I was not at my desk yet. But Palantir, I think, kind of looks like a short. Let's see if it pushes lower. But if it holds on to this, I think Mark S. in the chat mentioned 3605s. I don't think that's a bad level at all, because that was kind of a bit of a level of interest earlier. I honestly maybe prefer that 36, what is this, like area just below 3610s. This kind of base, if we are able to bounce off that, that could be a decent look for Palantir, but I feel much better in terms of a reversion here with the multitude of reverse-ceptions going on here. On I, to the N, to the T, to the C. Also, Meta here. I want to talk about Meta. Meta has filled me with a lot of regret. No, I'm joking. That was, no regrets, no emotional trading. But Meta here, like that long pushing up into 534s. I didn't realize I only got part filled because the plan was to take up part of the position at 534. Bet. We only got part filled. So I really would not have been able to take anything out. I ended up getting stopped out when we pushed back below 533. Just the management was meh. It was management on Meta. It wasn't like, management wasn't as good. It's one of the biggest things I've had today because even though like I said, I am in the sim due to some, Accenture-related oopsies, I still want to be trading and pushing harder every single day, which is why I'm disappointed in the way I've been trading in the sim today, why I'm disappointed in what I did live. But, you just got to, and again, I'm not trying to say this to be a negative Nelly. In fact, I think it's the opposite. I think you have to acknowledge your shortcomings and where you're doing wrong in order to grow. And we value honesty in this show. We value honesty. We value confidence, all that. But I also want to shout out the super chat on this member chat from Day Trader Cut, which made me laugh. Member for 6 months. 6 months member here. Shorts are, he tagged you, I guess there. Shorts are printing. Now my wife's boyfriend is on dish duty tonight. Not me. Drop a bang for me. That is pretty funny. So good joke there. Great stuff there, guys.
Love
if you're in the chat and if you're liking what you see, please, you could subscribe to be a member of this awesome chat. But also, if there's any triggers you want to see Sean and Neil cover, get in the chat. ! Join, space, $, that ticker. Good times there, chung chung. So the balance of the evidence told me to long Intel. We'll see if we end up getting kicked out of the courtroom. If there's like a dramatic, standoff, we'll find out what's happening there. But I see you're still getting, dosed with Moderna.
Yeah, and that was, well, I'll just leave that out of the Another commentary. But yes, we are long mRNA. I'm going to have to risk about 40 to 45 pennies here. I'm long in front of VWAP, so that's the move. We get stopped out, we're in the trade. The one that I'm really upset about, Fabian, is Apple. Because I literally got taken out bottom dang wick, and then it just V-shaped retracement. I'm looking here at 216.25, 216.20. We had a lot of interaction with that level, both as support and resistance. We're working up to it now. Is this an interesting area to get short? It's north of VWAP, but I feel like Apple hasn't been respecting the volume weighted average price all that much on the day. It did have wicks that were bouncing off it initially, which was, we were talking about that, but it's kind of lost a little bit of its respect for it lately on that big down move. It didn't respect it on this big up move, not big up move, on this retracement up. It's not respecting it either. So I want to see whether we find resistance at the fifth of a dollar, quarter of a dollar, in and around this area here, basically to account for this churn on AAPL. We shall keep an eye out on that. We are long, as I mentioned, mRNA. If it breaks 73 decisively, we're gone. I'm looking for something possibly retracing into that 74. We'll have to risk to below 73. So it's a bit of a bigger risk for me. I don't usually take these type of trades. So we shall see there. ZNTL right back into that 418, 417 level. We're long 412. It's still putting in lower highs. I have the opportunity to get out here, but I'm negative on the MAME. So I'm just going to wait because I remember what NYCB did yesterday, and it bamboozled me and it ended up giving me exactly what I wanted, but it forced me, well, I forced myself out of the trade by lacking patience. So that's on me. Okay, so it looks like Apple is rejecting that quarter dollar area, and down it goes again. Interesting, right into VWAP. So that 216 and a fifth, 216 and a quarter, interesting area of resistance. I wasn't sold on this recovery. Let's see if we do recover, though. We are, I think we still at lows, though, no? On the future, close? Yes. Yes, Katina, man, we are exactly flat, 0.00% right now on the NQ December contract. Guys, we've rolled over here on the floor. We are no longer using the September contract. We are looking at the said December contract now. So we're still kind of almost break even here, about 5 pennies out of the money on mRNA. I don't know how this trade resolves, but I know it's at VWAP. I know that it's been directional 6%. If it breaches VWAP, I lose. If it holds VWAP and moves up a little bit, I win. It's really that simple. I don't have any beak wetters because I don't know how parabolic this is going to be or how not parabolic it's going to be. So I'd like to be able to make the decisions as it starts trading, and I can watch the tape and see what kind of buyer exuberance or lack thereof there is. And here we go. It's coming down to the quarter dollar again. So now we're about 20 pennies out of the money on this name on the bid, not so much the ask. So that's a look there. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm just, okay. I know I'm still looking at meta. I know there's been a lot of meta. I know a lot of the meta has been meta. I know it's called that, but meta to me here, I don't know, call me crazy, but I think there is a reversion here, and I think I should be patient and wait till 534. Why am I so insistent on the fact there's a reversion? Look at, okay, meta 530, I've talked about this a lot, so I'm not going to continue to wax poetic about that, but that level is ridiculous. That level's insane. We didn't even get to we bounced off, what's our low of day here, like 531 on the dot, and we pushed higher. Now, we are, to be clear, there is a resistance support flip there at 534, so I'm going to leave this name be, but I like all this mumbo jumbo. I like all these interactions. I don't know why I call it mumbo jumbo, and I think there could be a play there. Intel stopped me out. That's fair. This was a trade that I stand by attempting to get in with that VWAP bounce and these wicks to the upside. I risked it appropriately. Alas, it didn't work out. And that, you know, as we say here on this show, where's the next trade? Speaking of that, you know, the namesake of that, I showed it to Obi with the, where's the next trade? Amazon, I talked about liking Amazon at 188, and I didn't take it because I was like, oh, I'm looking at too many tickers. It's like, Amazon 188 would have maybe just been the play. You just short that, and you just let that thing to the downside. Oh boy, you are having a good trade and not getting chopped up in meta. But you know what it is? When you make the choices you make, you choose the stocks you look at. And I think one thing, too, I want to work on, and let me know, anyone in the chat, if you have advice for me on this, because I'm legitimately curious to try and learn from this community. Like, how do you, like, once you look at your set tickers for the day, you want to only look at those tickers, right? That's going to be your plan. But then what happens if those tickers are kind of duds and you want to look at other opportunities? I guess, how do you justify branching out and finding other opportunities? Because I was trying to work this into my playbook, and I haven't really found a good solution yet. So I'd love to hear what people in the chat have to say. Speaking of that, this is a ticker that was not on my playbook today, though I do always have levels on it, and it's actually coming to one of my favorite levels on it recently that I talked about yesterday. SPY 562.50. Do I want to take a low of day SPY long? Not particularly. I wouldn't do it live, so I don't want to do it in the sim. But Sharif,
What?
if we hold 562.50 here, oh boy. I know I keep saying that, but it's the level I really like. And look on the book, we can't even break below 60s. This is actually wild to me. Now, to be clear, if we break below 562.50, I'm smashing that short. But you know what, Sharif?
What?
I'm actually going to go long this.
Okay.
I'm going to go long the SPY here.
I like it, Adara.
Well, okay, never mind. As I said that, the SPY was like, oh, Adara will actually make you question yourself for a bit. I'm like, okay, cool, SPY. I like to take time to make decisions. Thank you, SPY. But we come right back up. If we can reclaim these 70s, we are smashing long here. We're going to take that position. We're going to risk it into 50s. I really like the way we're holding up here, Sharif. So let's see if we get to 70s, guys. Thank you again to everyone in the chat. Please vote for your ticker of choice. Exclamation point, join, space, $. That ticker, we want to know what makes you tick every single day here. And you can know what Sean and Neil have to say about your tickers. That is a great move. That is for sure. And it's a really great opportunity to have them give you their thoughts. So let's see. We were not able to get filled there. Let's see if we get filled here at 70s. Yeah, I have a feeling this long is not going to be. I think the long would work. I just don't think I'm going to get filled. So I don't want to move this too much. The highest I would go is 75s. Let's see if we're able, or get 75 at this area here. Let's see if we're able to get filled. What are you looking at here, Sharif, as this market is making some moves over here?
All right, we're going to do the lesson because it's 12:45. And so I'm in a couple of positions, so I'm going to let them cook. And if I get stopped out, I get stopped out. Stops are in place. Everything's ready to go. So let's do this, baby. It's a bit of a longer lesson today, but very important. Head and shoulders is what we're talking about. We're talking about reversal patterns for the next couple of weeks. So we're going to start off with, I guess, one of the most common reversal patterns, or so some textbooks say. So this lesson introduces the head and shoulders pattern, one of the most reliable reversal patterns in technical analysis, according to John J. Murphy. We'll discuss the structure, we'll discuss the significance, the practical application, as well as the breakdown of the inverse head and shoulders and the role that volume has to play in this specific pattern. So let's get right down to business, baby. What is, as we always typically discuss, we start very basic. What is a head and shoulders? So the head and shoulders is a reversal pattern that signals the end of an uptrend and the beginning of a downtrend. It's essentially a visual representation of the battle between buyers and sellers. The structure, let's talk about what the structure is, because that's really what the whole thing is about. The left shoulder, right? That's the initial peak, and I'll show you what this looks like in a sec. That's the initial peak. It occurs during the uptrend, so you're chugging along and you make a new high. Not unusual for an uptrend. Okay, so I think that I'm gonna get stopped out likely over here on mRNA. Let's have a look quickly to see what it does, because my alert triggered. So I'm gonna have to pack my patience, see if this triggers or not, or whether we bounce up off this level. mRNA, I'll get triggered if it breaks below 88s. So here we go. I just have to pause the lesson for a sec to see whether or not we do hold up at this level. I'm a little worried sometimes because, you know, these script stops, sometimes they don't allow you or there is a bit of a lack of liquidity. I did account for the lack of liquidity by putting in a bit of a bigger spread between the triggering price and the ask. But sometimes, you know, there's still a bit of a problem there. So I'm keeping my eye on this one, and we'll see if this one can bounce up, but likely going to get stopped out here as now we're printing 90, and I'm waiting at 88s to get stopped out. So the break of 73 comes in fast and furious there, and I will get stopped out here as it's printed 90 likely, and we're going to move down. So I'm going to leave that one to cook, knowing full well that, yeah, it's a bit of a tougher trade there. So the left shoulder is where we're kind of moving along, we're chugging along, we're making higher highs and higher lows. We print a new high. That's not unusual for an uptrend, right? So you really don't know it's going to be a head and shoulders based on the left shoulder. But then the head comes into play. The price rallies to form another high, right? A higher peak, which is the head. And then followed by that new high of a decline. Did I get stopped out? Yeah, I did get stopped out. Followed by a decline. Right? And that is basically where the left shoulder comes into, or the right shoulder, excuse me, comes into play. So the price makes a rally again while making that right shoulder, but it fails to reach the previous high of the head. And that's kind of how you know there. So we made an old high with the left shoulder, a new high with the head, but that right shoulder unable to reach that same level as the head, and therefore that's kind of our cue. The neckline is where most people enter this trade, and I'll show you exactly what I mean in a second. A trend line drawn basically through the bottom of the shoulders, the lows of the left and the right shoulder. This acts as a support level. Once broken, it confirms the pattern. This is the look. So you're moving up, you're making higher highs and higher lows, like a nice uptrend. There's your left shoulder. You make normal retracement, but then there is that new high. So you're like, yeah, okay, well, we're just moving along our merry way in the uptrend. And this low is higher than the previous one, so you don't think anything of it. You're like, okay, yet another downtrend. This is where things get different though. That lower high on the right shoulder, that should be your your hint that the winds of change may be coming on this name, okay? And so we'll talk about the different entry points you can get, but this is where you kind of know things are taking a little bit of a different turn. Volume, super operative when analyzing the head and shoulders pattern. So volume plays a critical role in confirming the head and shoulders pattern. During the left shoulder, volume typically rises as the market pushes to new highs, but during the head formation, volume may begin to diminish. It doesn't have to, but it may, right? Signaling waning buying pressure, even though prices are continuing to reach new highs. Where have we seen that before? Price action, RSI divergence, price action, MACD divergence, yada, you guys get it, okay? And then during the formation of the right shoulder, the volume often decreases even further if it had already started decreasing in the formation of the head. This signifies that buyers now are decidedly losing strength relative to sellers. And then the break of the neckline is where most conservative style traders get in. A decisive break of that neckline accompanied by increasing volume confirms the shift to that bearish market. If the break happens to be on low volume, however, it may be a false breakdown. Need to be accounting for that. So we'll talk more about volume in a hot minute, but there it is. The left shoulder forms, the head forms, the right shoulder forms, and then you get that neckline break. And that neckline trend line, let's call it that, doesn't have to be diagonal. It can actually be horizontal. So they could be equidistant, or there could be a decided slope one way or another. It doesn't have to be upward or downward. They can be either or. All right, so just because you're upward sloping on the head and shoulders doesn't invalidate the pattern at all. But the point is to tell you, once we got that neckline break from that upward trend line, look at the volume confirmation. You got the volume confirmation. That's what we wanted to see. So again, initially volume a little bit higher on the formation of the left shoulder, a little bit lower on the formation of the head, much lower, as you can see over here, on the formation of the right shoulder. But once that neckline breaks, you want to see big boy volume come in. Otherwise, you should be suspicious of the breakdown. The beautiful thing about the head and shoulders is this doesn't just show you how to get into the trade, but it shows you, well, so the textbooks say, where to project your beak wetter, your profit taker. It's actually based on the pattern itself. So let's talk about that. So after the head and shoulders pattern is confirmed with the break of the neckline, traders seek to estimate the price objective or target on the downtrend. So the simplest method essentially here is to calculate the price by measuring the vertical distance from the head to the neckline. That distance from the head to the neckline is then projected downward from the neckline onward. So if there was a $20 differential between the crest of the head and the neckline, you project that $20 differential down from the neckline onwards. So that should be where you're looking to take profit. So if the height of that, so I already gave you the example. Now, one adjustment to that kind of methodology is to consider the market conditions. What do I mean by that? If the volume on the neckline break is particularly aggressive, more than usual, the price may exceed that measured objective. So it actually may decline more than that $20 that you had projected. If that is the case, or if you're just more, risk prone, then you may want to hold on to a little bit of a piece. Take out 80%, whatever, at that $20 price target projection and leave a piece for the dream. And here's exactly what I'm talking about. You've got the crest of the head measured down to the neckline. You then take this distance over here and you project it downward, and that should be your beak wetter, your profit taker right there. Let's talk quickly about the inverse head and shoulders. It's essentially the opposite of a regular head and shoulders pattern and signals, this time, not a reversal, from an uptrend to a downtrend, but a reversal from a downtrend to an uptrend. Its structure, identical, except in the inverse. It consists of a lower low, which is the head, flanked by two higher lows, which are the shoulders. The breakout pattern is confirmed when the price breaks above, not below this time because we're moving up, above the neckline with a higher volume. So that same requirement we talked about for the regular head and shoulders applicable to the inverse head and shoulders with respect to volume and the neckline break. And the price objective, same thing. You're measuring from the bottom area, so the trough of the head, to the neckline break, and then projecting that from the neckline onwards, same move. And this is the look right here. So that's the trough with the head, and there's the neckline break. You measure that distance, you project upward, you put a profit taker in and around there. Let's talk about the practical application. How are we going to use this every day? What are the steps? So when trading the head and shoulders pattern, it's crucial to have a clear plan that include entries, your stop placements, and your profit-taking levels, as well as your confirmatory indicators, baby. Here's a step-by-step guide. Your entry point. Most traders will wait for the neckline break before getting in. And I should say most conservative traders, right? Most conservative and reliable entry point is after the price breaks below the neckline on strong volume. This confirms a reversal pattern, right? The trigger for your entry is when the price closes, not wicks, closes decisively below that neckline, ideally on increased volume, as we've said, compared to the right shoulder. A break without strong volume could signal a false breakout. The alternative here, and the more aggressive entry, is to get in on the formation of the right shoulder, not wait until the neckline breaks on a closing basis. That is a more aggressive approach, but, maybe equally as appropriate. So for traders willing to take on more risk, an entry can be made as the right shoulder forms just before the neckline is broken. However, this is a riskier trade and requires additional confirmation from other indicators, which we discussed below. And this is what I'm talking about right here. So you make the head pattern right over here. You come down, you test the neckline, then you start making the formation of the right shoulder. Some people will get in on this dotted line here. It doesn't have to be a specific area on the dotted line, but most traders will start seeing that lower high form right there and be like, oh, this is an interesting head and shoulders. Or they may see it form and then get in like somewhere over here once you can kind of see like half the pattern is formed already. Okay? If that's the case, I'll submit to you two different area stops. You can put your area stop above the formation of the crest of the right shoulder. That is a bit of a closer stop, or you can go with what the textbook says and keep the stop above the head. Obviously, you give back a bit more if the pattern goes against you. Your profit target, same business. You're projecting from the head to the neckline downward. Stop loss placement, I just went over that, so I'm not going to go over that again. All right, here it is. We're moving along. The left shoulder, head, right shoulder. You get in on the formation of the right shoulder before the neckline break. You can have your stop up here at the area crest, or you can have it a bit more conservative and give yourself a bit more room to trade with having it at the head. The profit taker made this very clear. Measure the distance from the head to the dang neckline. Calculate the distance between the peak of the head and the neckline. This distance is then subtracted from the neckline to find the price objective. I went through that, so I'm not going to go through that again, but here it is visually. There is the head, there is a neckline. You measure that, you project it downward. Volume. Let's talk about some confirmatory indicators, though, to assist us in our trading with this pattern, because we don't want to rely solely on the price action, seeing the head and shoulders. We want some more aids vis-a-vis some of these technical indicators. Volume is the most important of the confirmation tools. Ensure that the volume declines as the right shoulder forms and expands significantly as the neckline is broken. Super operative here. Low volume on the formation of the right shoulder, big boy volume on the neckline break. RSI here can be helpful as well. So this is a cool one. RSI can help confirm overbought conditions in the formation of the head and the right shoulder. Here's what to look for. So you're looking for bearish divergence between the RSI, where the price is making higher highs, like on the formation of the head, but the RSI starts making lower highs. So you have that area crest when you form the head, but you look at the RSI, and all of a sudden the RSI is putting in lower highs, as opposed to what the price action is doing, which is putting in higher highs. That could be your bearish divergence, and you should be on the lookout for a possible reversal there. Moving averages, important here as well. The 50-period moving average can provide additional confirmation, specifically if the price is already trading below the 50 EMA. Once you get that neckline break, add that check mark right into that name as well, or onto that list, and you can see that kind of confirmatory observation. Last but not least, the moving average convergence divergence. Watch for a bearish crossover between the MACD line and the signal line during or just after the formation of the right shoulder. So it's the right shoulder we're looking at here. This indicates the momentum obviously is shifting from bullish to bearish, and you should be on the lookout for the neckline break there. So to summarize, the head and shoulder pattern is one of the most reliable reversal or trend reversal patterns, or so they say the textbooks. Volume, super important in assessing the validity of this pattern, so keep your eye out for that. And traders can estimate your price objectives, your profit targets based on the pattern height. And the inverse head and shoulder pattern is exactly the same as the head and shoulders pattern, just in the opposite. I hope everybody prints some storms.
Yeah, thank you very much there for Sharif. We hope that we are all meteorologists there. We're calling those storm prints, stormtroopers auto. Shout out to that. I enjoy that phrase that you have there. Also, guys, it is 1 p.m., so you know what that means. We'll talk for another hour, but no, what I actually mean is that we do have our 1 p.m. 20-year bond auction that we're waiting for there. So I have that up. I will let you guys know. Also, I want to talk about the SPY long that I had, because I fully stand by. This is a 100% would have taken live. I want to talk about why I did it. I still think SPY is bullish here. Now, you might be like, Adara, you have eyeballs. You see that move down. Yeah, I took the short down. I said I like that 562.50. I was willing to try a long 562.50. Didn't work out. Flipped short. That worked. Then I flipped long again. Now, I should have taken it out at 562.50 instead of adding there. I fully admit that. I added where I did because I liked that push above it. But look where we have all this support. You see it on the book. Like on the book, we get to 561.80. We dawdle, we fiddle around, then we pop back up. So to me, I have no problem taking a long into that support. And you know what? We're actually going to do that here. If we can reclaim 562, now I'm using 562.30s because it was the level I liked in the book. So we're going to take less size to start this. We're going to risk it into 562.30s. And then we're going to get long 562.30s. We're going to risk it into 561.80s. I feel very good about this trade.
Nice, Adara.
If I'm able to get that level. Also, we did get the auction 4.039% here for the 20-year bond versus 4.16% the previous there. I want to address this as well, Kevin A. I honestly don't feel like there are times where I know I've been tilted. Accenture this morning live, I will admit I was probably a little full tilt boogie. Shout out to an actual criminology term. That's the thing, yeah. Right?
What is it called? Say it again.
Full tilt boogie. So it's like
no way, I didn't know that.
Basically, you're in a situation where you're kind of panicking, and then you switch up your MO entirely. It's a criminal profiling
Interesting.
term. But yeah,
cool.
So I feel like that was the thing for me in Accenture this morning. Today anyway, I do not feel tilted on the SPY. Like I can be wrong about my read on the SPY, but the SPY is one of those books, and I've said this before. I actually feel very good about my read on. And I say that because I've always said I have two playbook trades in the SPY and only two. One of them is whole dollar breakouts or breakdowns. The other is previous levels I like on the book or the chart. Every trade I've taken today in the SPY has been one of those. So, and this 562.50 level has been a level I loved on the SPY for many moons. That's why I was comfortable taking it. But yeah, also guys, like I honestly, you know what? We're doing this. If I want to see what we do here at 561.80s, if we hold 561.80s, to me that is actually a long. If we can't, cool, I'm wrong, I'll short it.
Pamp it.
Look at us holding 562.80s. Yeah, Sharif, I say pamp it too.
Get it, Derek.
So we're actually, and again, to be clear, I know I'm in the sim. This is a trade I would take in the live as well. I have literally no qualms about this. I am qualmless. As long as we can get above, like I said, my qualifiers for this, can we get above 562? Can we hold 561.80? If we can do both those things, then to me, It is unequivocally a long for my purposes. And that's the thing too, that's great. You know, we have all these other eyes, you have all these, you know, other, and again, when you're trading live, you got so many eyes on you, right? Like all these people in the chat. But you have to, again, set in your convictions, your confidence, because the trades are gonna be made by you. If you don't believe in yourself, who will believe in you? It's probably time for me to stop waxing poetic, but that's my take on the SPY. And you know, one other thing too I wanna say is I was thinking about this. I know there's been a thing said sometimes, and I don't disagree in theory, that I think, like, you know, the biggest difference between live and sim is you're more emotional live. I don't think that's true. I feel like I feel the stakes and the pressure on the sim and the live because, again, and maybe it's different when you're trading in front of people, but I want to do a good job every single time. So for me with these SPY trades, the only thing I'm tilted by is these markets. If these markets tell me to move, I move. And my rant is over, and I'm ready to take the SPY. If you break 560, 180, you know I'm shorting you. How are you doing over here?
Good, Adara. We just took 20 pennies, quick as you dang like on PLCE, came into VWAP. I punched long, simple as that. Where are we long? We're long 65, took it out at 85. I'm waiting at 16. Are we gonna get printed? We're moving up nice. We're moving up nice. Let's go, bro. Well, we're up at 91. There it is, Adara. We got the print. I love this stock. I'm going to keep it on my side chart for tomorrow. PL dang CE up 31%. Thank you. I appreciate you. We almost at the same price, Adara. First time we got in, we got at 70. Second time, 65s. So that level has obviously had some sort of importance on the day. It's still going. So let's see if this one can weasel up above 1640. I really like this as a good breakout trade above that 1640. Look at the umpteen amount of bounces we had there as support at 1640. I anticipate resistance at that 1640 level if we do weasel up there. And it looks like we might get there sooner than I anticipated. Look, Ram, you know, I don't have any kids. So I won't be doing a lot of shopping at Children's Place, but should the opportunity present itself to get, you know, my niece and nephew, anything like that, I don't mind. I don't mind. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I love it. The question is, Ram, the question really is, when are you going to start shopping at Children's Place? Because I wasn't the one who just got married. Just saying, right? So that's the look there. So keep going.
What?
What? Is it like is it beyond the realm of possibility that she gets married, has children? I don't think that's that unusual.
I love that you just dropped that. You just dropped. I don't even think that was like a thing that had been like said.
No.
Oh my gosh.
I like to push the boundaries, Adara.
The hot file.
Ram was like a sister, man. Come on, we always joke around here.
We're always like, yeah,
exactly. 420 is where we're trading at right now, guys. ZNTL. We've been rejecting off this 420 for a hot minute. So my theory, my assumption is we break through this 420, we squeeze up a little bit, maybe into that 425, 426. And the thing is, I know for certain that it's an iceberg holding this down. Every time we weasel our way into 420, shout out to 420 Bud Monster, there's no size on the book. Nothing's preventing. Look, we're single digits here on all the gateways. So it's big boy iceberg, hidden seller that's preventing this from ascending above that 420 level. We'll have to see how long this lasts for. We're long 412. I'm negative on ZNTL. I'm trying to work my way out of being negative, so it's not like I'm profitable on the trade because we're, 7 or 8 pennies in the money. That ain't the look, all right? So we're trying to get out of trouble on this one. PLCE, still zigging and zagging with 16 Adara. And this is the one that I'm really thinking can present me with a good trade today. MRNA. Now look, I'm going to have to sneeze. Excuse me. I didn't get an opportunity to mute my mic. I apologize to all the viewers. This is an interesting look for me. Okay, we have a very directional move. We break all the moving averages, and then we find what looks like to be a consolidative support level at or below, technically, the volume weighted average price, right at that 73, high 72s, okay? If this one holds this level, this could be a great trade. It's just about if I get in here or place my stop near the double bottom there, 72.65. I don't want to get cut up on it. Again, I'd rather participate in a directional move rather than trying to guess bottoms. And that's what I've been doing so far. I initially tried to guess the bottom at 73 because that's where the volume weighted average price was. It broke that and broke it by, 30 some odd pennies. Now it's become consolidative. So the bleeding has stopped. But just because the bleeding has stopped doesn't mean it's going to reascend again. It doesn't have to ascend. It can continue to go sideways. So I'd like to see what this one does. mRNA, I'm really interested in trading this off VWAP or thereabouts. We'll see if it presents me with a trade. I see you guys yelling about GLMD, man. This thing is an absolute rocket ship. 16 1/3 high day. Just printed a new high. Every time I look at this stock, I feel like it's printed another new high. Very respectful of the moving averages. It's breached the 10 on a wick basis. Never breached the 20, at least from what I see here. So GLMD, baby. It's moving big boy there.
Yeah, you know what? I would love to say that I've sat here and I've been like, I think the SPY is short. I still don't think the SPY is short. I'm not getting long again here. I'm waiting. To be clear, I said here. I will get long again on the SPY if we get above 560, 250. Now, I am aware the SPY just had a big quadunk, and I want to explain why I feel like this, because I feel like I sound like a conspiracy theorist. But everything I'm seeing in the book on the SPY is incredibly bullish. And let me wax poetic as to why. Now, 561.80 has been a little level here. You could see it on the chart. You see this area where there's no candle? That is because we literally closed flat at 561.80. This to me is a huge level on the book. I would be remiss. It would behoove me to trust my instincts on this, and that is why I am not going short SPY.
Shorted Uber?
I will go long only if we get above 562.50, at which point I will jackhammer to that. I want size on that trade. But let's see what happens here on the S&P 500. That is what's going on here. Yeah, there is a bit of a head and shoulders here, a little. I don't even know. Shout out to Showers. I do see the lower highs, but what I'm seeing also here is I'm seeing this as a reversion play. As long as we stay above 561.80s, to me, the SPY is a long. I also don't, see, so now we're breaking below. At this point, of course, probably a short. But yeah, in this first long here, not this first long, but this most recent long, I literally got waked out of that. Then we pushed higher. It's all good. Clearly, it's not a long anymore. I'll see what I see in this, so I wanted to wait until get long again. But that's why you have to go with the trades that make the most sense to you. I would have felt really weird taking that short, even if it had worked out, because that was not my plan. Those are not my levels. And SPY, if you reject 561.80s and I see that, then and only then will I short it, because the only level I want to be shorting the stock is 561.80. So rant over on this. Sean is short the NASDAQ. Oh, yeah, okay, that's a nice look there. The NASDAQ, I want to pull up the NASDAQ. I'm going to pull up the Qs, because I know you were short the TQs. Oh, I would love to. Okay. I'm watching you SPY still, because I think there's something in the SPY. Okay. TQs, are you short? 66.57. Wow, okay, 73s. Okay, nice. So basically literally those wicks there. Shout out to Sean. Look at all those purple flowers there celebrating your birthday. There's a lot of purple birthday candles there, Sean. So shout out to you. And then all the green candles. Pardon? Uber. Sean is now short Uber. He's saying beep beep to the downside. So you are Uberish on Uber, to use a pun that I once made and was way too proud of. So let's take a look at this UBER. Also, guys, you do have. Okay, that's a great look. Can I guess where you're short Uber? Did you just get short Uber? Okay. Was it 72.90s? Okay, so not bad. Yeah, around VWAP. Yeah. So shout out to Sean, who was short 72.82 on Uber. And then I believe it was at 66.74 short on Qs. Okay, dope. So those are Sean's trades, brought to you by Seanfidence. Okay, now we have the SPY back at 561.80s. Like I said, I want to look at other tickers, but also and this is where, honestly, like I said, I'm really trying to refine my style, because I think I'm kind of stuck at this point where you want to make sure you're not trading too many tickers, but also you don't want to get too anchored to certain tickers, the stuff I was doing with Meta and the SPY today. I'm trying to use my opportunity here today in the sim due to my own, misadventures with Accenture. Earlier today, that I just want to make sure I'm making trades that make sense, and I'm kind of coming to decisions that make sense. This week has been rough, to put it lightly, but you know what? You fall down, you can always get back up. And right now, I want to look for stocks that are moving in ways different to the market. It's one thing that Neil said to me that I've always really that's really stuck with me, and I thought of, if you're seeing moves in the market, find things that are kind of working in opposite ways. Palantir right now, bouncing here off 36.15s. I like this, and I'm willing to risk it. into that 3605 level. Shout out to Mark S in the chat. He was mentioning 3605 level. We're going to do this. I like this look here on PLTR. We'll see if we get filled. I still like SPY long because guess what is back above 562? What? That's right. It's the S&P 500. I am dancing because, you know, and this is the thing. That's why you have to believe in yourself in your trade. I said I would have felt really uncomfortable shorting the SPY, even though I knew that was quote unquote the right kind of trade. And I've gotten chopped up a lot, and I've been pretty open about this. I've said this to Sharif. I've probably mentioned this on the show. I think the times that I do the worst are the times that I go against my instincts or against who I am as a trader or a person. And with that in mind, I would have felt really queasy shorting the SPY there. Sharif, if we get that 561.80 bounce one more time, I will actually tentatively go long 561.80. Risk it into 60s.
I like it.
I would rather not do that. I'd rather
mother of all double
I have
bottoms.
belief in that level. That is a crazy bounce. Yeah, I'm at long Palantir as well here. We're going to take some out of 32s. But yeah, the SPY to me, that is my big white whale trade. I love this look on the S&P 500. And I would be remiss. It would behoove me, Sharif, trade the stock. I'm with Stock Napa now. How you doing?
I'm good, Adara. Let's go to ZNTL over here because we've been waiting for this one to break 420 for a hot minute. And we may get our wish because we have ascending lows now. So the higher low situation with this flat top breakout, it's the only trade we're currently in at the moment. I want to mention the Katina Man is short Uber at these levels. So shout out to the Katina Man. And it's an easy job for me to remind you guys about more Trader TV. I wonder if it'll pop up like this, Ram. Oh, yes, it does. It shows up on YouTube. Isn't that so good? So this is our other channel, but we got to pay a quick bill first, Adair. It's no big deal, right? This is More Trader TV. It is our it's our concurrent channel. You have it. It's got its own account, so you can't just get it off Trader TV. It's called More Trader TV. As you can see there, the Katina Man shorting up multiple storms. He's short Uber. He's short the market, the TQQs. He's short the dead one, Apple. He's long Micron because it's been beat up. Right? So shout out to him. You can see all his entries, his exits over here. Shout out to Neil, who was doing his stretches back there for his foot. We wish him all the best, and we're rooting for him, obviously, to recover. He's not in any positions currently because he was doing his exercising. And then, as you can see, Adara takes care of all this stuff over here, the economic calendar, the top stocks, the ticker, top ticker, the bottom ticker, everything. It is always running while we are live. And if you ever want to see what Sean and Neil are trading, sure. Whenever Adara and I are trading, you want to see what the Neil is in, what the Katina Man is in. This is your go-to channel over here, More Trader TV. And I got to hit the like too, Adara. Okay, yeah. Not hit the like. So let's do the campus program here. So we're going to load this up. We're going to pay some bills because we are brought to you by the best trading firm around. Do we have the visualizations? Ram? Because I don't have it. Okay, we'll take a second. Over here, so real, there it is. Okay, I got it, real trading, not realtor. That's not good. Real trading, there we go. All right, guys, let's hit this promo. Attention, Canadian traders, the Real Trading Campus program is back. Are you ready to elevate your game? Our exclusive program is designed to transform you into a real trader, dive deep into the market microstructure, explore diverse marketplaces, and master professional execution techniques. We'll focus on U.S. equities, starting with a carefully curated stock list to optimize your learning. As you progress, you'll gain access to an expanded range of symbols. From order types to venue exploration, we've got you covered. This isn't about chasing high flyers. It's about building a solid foundation for a long-term success. So don't miss out on this opportunity to join our upcoming cohort and take your trading to the next level. Shout out to Real Trading, the best dang prop firm around these parts of there.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Hi. Yeah, guys, we'll do the lesson a little bit later just because we had a little bit of a late lesson. So there we go. Also, the SPY. I am trying to get long here on the SPY. I stand by this. And like I've always said, if there's one thing I want to trust more than anything in the markets, it's not going to be, not going to be it has to be your read on something. For me, it's my read on the book. I love the way the SPY book is moving here. I love that 560K. There we go. We got filled 562. We're going to look at that hold of 562. I like this. I'm adding at 562.30s because that was another level I liked. Then I will be adding once again at 562.50s should we be seeing what we do there. So we're going to get our stops ready here. We're going to do 561.74s because I want to give it a little bit of room because it is the S&P 500. I got wicked out of that, my other long on this. So there we go. Let's see this push to the upside. To be clear, it's not stubbornness that is keeping me in the SPY. It is the fact that I'm continuing to see things I like. To me, that's what's keeping me here. And I honestly, you could argue it's stubbornness. Maybe you may be right. I may be stubborn. Shout out to my version of a Billy Joel song here. But I think the SPY is showing me what I wanted to see, which was a hold of 561.80s, which was the push above 562. If we break above 562.30, I will be adding some here. So let's see what happens here. That will be the look. Again, I am also okay, we're going to add here if we get a 34s, I think we got set up here. So there we go. Nice look. So basically, I am in the same as I said here. We got shut down, but you can get shut down, but these markets will not shut you out. Or I mean, they can, but you just got to keep going, got to keep pushing. We're going to move our stop here as well. I apologize. There's a lot of active trading up in here, but hopefully you guys are loving the active trading because that is what we do on this show. Moving the stop to just below 262, or sorry, 562. If it was just below 262, that'd be dicey because we would be out of a lot of money because SPY is currently at 500s. Palantir pushing up higher here. I want to know what you guys are looking at. I would like you guys to vote for your tickers of choice, exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever tickers are fancy, but also if there's any tickers you want us to look at now, let's know. Tony Hawk, son of Lincoln, I like this name here, saying you're over the daily pivot on ES. Nothing wrong with this long side attempt. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. And I mean, this is like I said too, it's the fact that it's a level I've liked on multiple days, which is that 562.50 does give me, in my opinion, a little bit more confidence, confluence, whatever you want to say here. What else is happening here? Oh, IWM.
Micron?
Oh.
Yeah.
So there we go. Confidence there. Micron, apparently. What is Micron doing over here?
It's pumping, Adara. Nice. It's up $1 and well off the bottom there. Shout out to the Katina man. The dude calls bottoms, man. That's just what it is. Shout out to him. It's are you profit taker looking for VWAP? He's long at 87.80. He just wet his beak there as it got into 20s. Come over to the Katina man's. There it is. Yeah, so he's got some at 88. He's wet his beak at 20s. Our blue line. Uber's trying to go as well. He's short Uber on the break of VWAP, wetting his beak. It's continuing to print new lower. You just saw it live in living color, baby. You just saw that green triangle come up. Shout out to the dang Katina man. Happy birthday, by the way, in case any newer viewers are joining us. Today, it is Sean's birthday, and obviously we're celebrating him, so we're going to shout out to the Katina man. It is his B-day. 21 never looks so good.
Right?
So here's a look. We just got a print, Adara, on ZNTL. Can you believe it? Oh, my God. So
if you're getting a pushback for that, that's a great look.
And Dara, we've been waiting for this print all dang morning because there's been a seller up at 4 1/5 that we weren't able to, move out of the way. Now we're moving up nicely, and now we're well in the money. Here we go. We're printing 27s, hopefully getting out of this problem trade. Let's go here and wait at 28s because what's life without whimsy? We'll see if we can squeeze up a bit more. ZNTL finally looking good. I hope I don't jinx it by talking about it. We know for certain, though, that there was a seller of note at 426. Look at the 425, 426, excuse me. Look at the amount of rejections that we got there, and we're doing the same thing right now. We just got into 27, sure, but we're being met with kind of the same feeling of that same seller. You can tell he got pushed out there, but that's a specialist breakout, and then we basically made a newer low and zigged and zagged since that time. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did find some more prolonged resistance at 4 1/4 like we did in the earlier time of the day, knowing full well that the top could come off at any time. 439 HOD, but it is rejecting that $0.25 area. Printed 27s, now we're at 24s. So very alive to that. We'll see if this one comes back down again, or whether or not we can get some continuity to the high side. Still printing 425. I was about to sneeze. Excuse me, I gotta hit that antihistamine, Adara, because it's that season for me.
Oh.
All right, GLMD. This thing is just a rocket ship. Here comes 300% on GLMD. I'll take one of those. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. There, Katina, man, I got some water. Can I give it to you, Adira, so I can down one of these?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you are all good there. I am, we're doing nicely here on the SPY. We actually, and this is why you have to have conviction, right? Balance of the evidence. But basically why, like I said, I said as long as I see a hold up at that 561, or 561.80, sorry, I want to stay in the SPY. I added as we pushed above 50s. I'm going to start taking some out here around 563s. And it looks like we might actually get that, Sharif.
Nice.
I'm trying to get, I'm not able, I need to figure out how to get the order that can set me beak waters or whatever on the Amex, because I weirdly have it for the NASDAQ and the NYSE. And I have it also for the Amex on live, but not on my sim for whatever reason. We're going to take out a nice little portion of this trade here. If we push into this 563. Also, I'm using prior bar lows as my stop now, just as we're kind of pushing up into Limone. I want to see what we do here. I would like to see us, if we can hold, back into 563s, some profit shall be taken, some beaks
are going to get wet.
And you know what, Sharif, just because I want to use some buttons here, we did get rinsed. Oh, that's not the right button. Although, guys, please vote for your ticker, exclamation point, join space, $, ticker. We did get rinsed earlier in the sim. We got rinsed in some of these trades earlier as well. But as I've always said, it's like tides. Things ebb and they flow. And as you get rinsed off the shore, you just got to keep pushing. And so there we go. We did get our first peak order here just above 563s, 562.85s. We have a nice little hefty portion of this position left. I'm going to be aiming for my next area of profit taking here at 563.40s. But in the meantime, I've got a new 5-minute candle, so I'm going to have to move my stop up here. 562.27s. Let's go. Yeah, I love actively managing positions. This is so fun. And I hope you guys are entertained by this as well, because I know, we do something a little bit different than what you got with the big kahunas. They're going to give you those opening day trades. We give you the midday, and hopefully you're liking what you see over here. Not that we're trying to huff on some hopium over here, but we always want to keep people entertained. I guess we should probably do that lesson soon. Before we do that, though, I do want to talk as well about Palantir, which is the other trade I'm in right now, and it is going pretty swimmingly. We're about to take our first peak water here. That would be at 3630s-esque. That was the area I liked around VWAP. I should also, that's my bad. I keep forgetting to move my stop on this one. So we're going to move our stop to prior bar low, which would be 36.19. So we're going to move that stop. Accidentally moved my SPY stop. I did not want to do that. Okay. I need to probably clean up my stops a little bit over here. But we are definitely, I'm just going to move this stop as I'm yapping about it. So we're going to do 20. Let's go. Also, Intel, someone was mentioning Intel in the chat, and they were like, Intel long. I love this hold here of 2155s. Look at that big old bullish engulfing candle. However, Intel, for my money, I would wait for the long, and it's just for how I trade, right? You have to trade your own style. I want to see what we do at 2170s. That was kind of interesting level on the way back up. And so I think if we can and also you can kind of see that chop and churn there. So I think if we can reclaim 2170s, I like that look on INTC. In the meantime, Sharif, SPY pushing 562 or 563. So I am, say it with me, please just punch about that. That is for sure. Really enjoying what's been going on here in these markets today. Like I said, this was initially I was a little bit bummed. I was like, what am I doing with my life? Whatever. In these markets, and they'll make you feel like that sometimes, but you got to keep going, got to stay strong. And hopefully you guys are having a good day here, because I think it's been a really fun, exciting day to trade. And I will get that lesson set up as all the stops are set up over here. What are you looking at, True?
All right, awesome, Madeira. We're being bored to death with ZNTL. We got the beak water at 22, set up the other one at 28. It wicked top 27s. True to form, coming back down below that $0.25. There does seem to be a seller of note at this $0.25. We can't seem to shake them on the day. So whether or not that ends up printing and getting positive back on this name, I'm holding a bigger position on this name, and we're nicely in the money. We're printing 24s, we're long 11s. Great, fantastic. But I still didn't get the print at 28, so I'm grumpy. So we're going to wait for that one possibly to come in. This other one over here, we're still waiting, possibly on this curl and hold at the volume weighted average price. On Moderna, we'll see if we can get that move back up. I'm waiting at high 30s over here. It seems to be curling back up off VWAP, but this could be a dead cat bounce coinciding with the market pamp that we just got a little while. You saw Dara take the SPY long, doing well on it. So we'll see if this is just bamboozlement midday here on Moderna. There does seem to be another seller of note. Great. I've got a couple of sellers of note here, one on ZNTL, the other on Moderna at the fifth of a dollar. Quarter to a fifth of a dollar. We keep ascending into this 20 penny area and we're unable to breach it on a wick or closing basis. Take your pick. So we'll have to wait and see whether this one can weasel up, but it is certainly having trouble with that fifth of a dollar. And it's not, and I've been watching the tape now for the last little while. You know, I've been involved in this name almost all day. So that's the look there. We'll see if we can continue to move back up and hold this 73. That is the look. ZNTL, still nothing doing there. We're still holding on this one. I've got nothing else other than these two. I'm not going to trade the Mag 7 today. It's just not my kind of trading style for these names. Even though I see a nice little curl up on some of them, guys. Like you got C Softy here, just took out the 10 and the 20 on the way to the 50. Same thing with Meta, took out the 10 and the 20 on the way to the 50. Dead money today is Amazon, despite the fact that it's up 1.14. It's not curling. Tesla below the 20. You got Nvidia below the 20 and the Future at the 20 and Google at the 20 as well. Looks like Microsoft is the strongest of the bunch, if not on percentage up on the day, certainly in terms of retracement off the lows because it's above the 20 exponential. So we'll keep tabs on these names. But Adara going to drop some hot lines with the lesson du jour.
Yeah, I'm going to give you some hot lines there, hotline bling. Shout out to Drake. Shout out, as always, to Sheree for preparing the lesson, guys. And thank you all for sitting here with us. So let's talk here about, you might be familiar with this nursery, head and shoulders, knees and toes. What about head and shoulders, patterns and charts? Oh. Right, so we'll talk about this. Shout out to John J. Murphy, Long JJM. In his book, the technical analysis of the financial markets. And we're going to talk about the head and shoulders pattern because it's a huge one. And, you might want to put all our heads together, shoulders, and learn about this pattern. So it's a reversal pattern, basically, to put it lightly, that signals the end of an uptrend and the beginning of a downtrend and visually represents the battle between buyers and sellers. Jeez. And guys, when you see one of these materialize in real life, let me tell you, it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Like as someone who you want to get involved in these. Got to trade them carefully, as we'll discuss. But man, head and shoulders pattern in the wild. There's nothing like it, Sharif.
I love your enthusiasm, Adara.
They're few and far between. Remember I saw that one that day at AMD. I was not able to get it. Literally was like, I'm going for a walk. Because it's like when you miss out on these, these patterns are crazy. Also, guys, SPY above 563, so yay. But basically, shout out to Sean with his money bag. But let's also talk about here, what are the main things you need to know in terms of formations for these head and shoulders? So first you got the left shoulder, right? That's the initial peak occurring during an uptrend, and it's followed by a decline. So that will give you point A. Now, what about the head? So let's get ahead of ourselves. Don't get ahead of ourselves too much. Talk about the head here. So the head is basically when you've got the price rallying to form a higher peak, which is the head, and then that's followed by a decline that ends near the low of the previous shoulder, which gives you point B, a little bit of drawing here. Now, we also have here right shoulder, right? So that's when the price makes a rally, but it fails to reach the height of the head, and then it declines again to give you point C. Then we've got our neckline. So that's when you've got a trend line drawn through the lows of the left and the right shoulders, line D, and that will act as a support level that confirms the pattern only once it's broken. So here's some examples. So you've got your left shoulder, your point A here, right? Then you've got point B. It's where you come into contact with that neckline. You've got your head. Now you see, continue here. That's the neckline. You got your point C, then you've got point D, right shoulder, point E, and then we could do below the neckline. And also, I like that John J. Murphy, JJM, also shows us having that rejection there, that support resistance flip on the neckline. What I like about this example as well, Sharif, is that the B and the D here are two necklines, or are two shoulders, I guess our armpits, if you will. They're not perfectly aligned. They're a little bit asymmetrical. Isn't that kind of interesting,
says
right?
the BART indicator.
Oh, yeah, the BART, yeah, Ramin calls us the Bart Simpson indicator because it does look like his hair. So shout out to that. That is pretty funny and also not inaccurate. Let's talk here about the importance of volume. As I weirdly spoke louder for some reason. Let's talk about the importance of volume for the head and shoulders patterns. So volume is really critical in showing this pattern and its formation. So during the left shoulder, you want to see volume typically rising. Again, this is typical. Things are going to be different. You typically want to see an increase in volume as the market pushes to new highs. When you've got the head forming there, you've got the, the head making its shape there. that's when you're going to see maybe a diminishing or a decrease there in volume, a decline in volume, which can signal waning buying pressure, even though the prices have reached new highs. It's a little bit, I guess, of like what we see with some of these MACD, the RSI. It's a divergence, right? Divergence between what you're seeing price action-wise and what you're seeing in terms of interest in with buyers. So then what happens during the right shoulder? Well, you might see even more decrease in volume. So whatever volume you saw before, you got nothing on that even less volume we have here now. And so this can signify just another sign here that buyers are losing strength. They're getting exhausted. They're running out of breath. They're like panting, like they're really struggling over here, Sharif. And then last but not least, you've got your break of the neckline. Now, a decisive break of the neckline when accompanied with increased volume, that will confirm the shift to a bearish market. Because now we don't just have weak volume to the upside, we have strong volume to the downside.
Down.
And so if the break happens on low volume, that can signal a false breakout. So what you want to see is a decrescendo to all my music people, all my musicians out there. You want to see decrescendo in bullish volume and eventually an increase in bearish volume.
I like it.
Thank you. So here's the volume neckline break. So you've got the upward sloping confirmation line, a little lighter volume here, right? Then when you break below that line, look what you get. A big old volume spike. That to me is a pretty good sign. Now let's talk about price objectives here. How do you find your price targets with the head and shoulders? You can't just be like, oh, I want the head, oh, I want the shoulder. No, there's little areas baked in for you, which is really cool. So after you've got the head and shoulders pattern confirmed with the break of the neckline, preferably with volume, traders are going to seek to estimate the price objective because you're like, I want to plan my trade before I get in there, okay? Very reasonable, understandable. Also, you got stopped out of the SPY. Now, how do you do that? We will tell you. So the simplest method here is to basically calculate the price target by measuring that vertical distance from the head to the neckline, and then you project that distance downward from the point where the neckline is broken. So, for example, if you have a head, if the height from the head to the neckline is about $20 and the neckline is broken at $80, the price objective would be around $60. So that's 80 minus 20 equals 60. So how do you adjust this? So you might want to consider your market conditions when you're making adjustments, because if the volume on the neckline break is particularly strong, the price target might actually exceed the measured objective. So it might be even more than you wanted. You might want to save a piece for the dream. You might just want to wet your beak if there's even more. So basically by projecting the price objective, you can set more realistic profit-taking levels and assess risk for short positions. So here you go. You got your target here. So you break below. Your target's going to be basically the same. If you can measure exactly like what the distance is between the top of the head and the neckline, then the neckline to below, that could be your price target. This is also pretty similar. This is not a reversal pattern, but it's kind of similar in terms of calculation to what you see with our good old friend, the bull flag or the bear flag, right? Which is a continuation pattern, but it's the same idea. You want to measure the distance of the flagpole. That can give you an idea for your potential profit target. So I think that's pretty cool that there's some mirroring action there. Confluence, if you will. What about the inverse head and shoulders? So it's the opposite of the regular pattern. Signals a reversal from a downtrend to an uptrend. In terms of structure, it's going to be really similar to the regular pattern, but it's inverted. So you'll see a lower low as the head instead of a higher high, and it'll be flanked by two higher lows, which are going to be the shoulders. Now, the breakout. The pattern is going to be confirmed to break out there when you've got the price breaking above the neckline with higher volume, which suggests the beginning of a new bullish uptrend. And you're going to measure the price objective the exact same way you do it in the head and shoulders. You're going to calculate the distance between the head and the neckline and then project that distance upwards. So the inverse head and shoulders is often going to be seen a bear pattern, right? Look, it looks the exact same. You got your same calculation, you got your same neckline, you got your same break of move, and you got your target. So if you're like a little bit more bullish and you want to know how to use this pattern, guess what? You can. It's just an inverse. So what about our entry points? So you want to wait for the break of the neckline, as we said there. The most conservative and reliable entry point is going to be wait after the price breaks below the neckline with strong volume, because at that point you've seen a confirmed reversal pattern. And then the trigger for your entry should be when you've got the price decisively closing below the neckline. And again, ideally, you've got increased volume compared to the right shoulder to back that up, because a break without a strong volume, as we've said, could signal a false breakout. It could be a false alarm, that low volume. And a more aggressive entry, if you're willing to take on more risk, is if you're making it as the right shoulder forms. But that's maybe not great, because then at that point, honestly, you don't know if that's just kind of a slightly lower low before we make another higher high, right? So you don't really know yet. That's where you want to be a little more careful. This does require additional confirmation from other indicators. You don't want to take that solely on the head and shoulders. So as you can see here, you have some examples. You got your stop loss here. That's going to be a little, I want to hear about that trade.
I'm almost just let me concentrate for a second.
Sorry,
Thank you, sir.
Freezes punch for you.
Yeah.
So that's if you're getting short here, right? That's going to be a bit more aggressive. You're looking into the head, but then you can also take more profit, right? Because you can take profit in both these areas. So that's something worth noting. That's the more aggressive one. Where do you place your stop loss? You might want to place it above your right shoulder because, placing it just above the high of the right shoulder or point C, which provides protection in case the pattern fails and the market resumes its previous uptrend. Wow. So one example here is if you got the high of the right shoulder at $85, then your stop loss might be placed at 86, and that placement ensures that if the market turns against you, you've got to minimize loss because then you have the invalidation of the pattern right away. So here's one example. You got your stop here above the head, stop above the right shoulder, breakout. There you go. And so you can see that's where you would set your stop, right? Because that's where you're taking your profit. Either, it makes sense, right? There's an area that makes sense. You have your stop here. And again, you might want to set it above. You don't want to set it like right at the shoulder, right? Because it might wick into the shoulder. You want to give it a little bit of wiggle room. Again, within reason. We're not telling you what to do. We're just giving you general guidance. So make sure it makes sense for you with regards to risk. So how do you choose your profit taker, your B quarter, or your price target? So you want to measure the distance from the head to the neckline. Subtract that from the neckline to find the price objective. So if you got the head there at $100 and neckline around 80, that's going to be $20 distance. So you want to subtract 20 from the neckline break around, which is again around $80, right? So it gives you a profit target of $60. And maybe you think it can move even more. So maybe you want to take out a good portion of the position at 60 and leave a piece of the dream. How do you adjust your price target, though? Well, if you've got a big old volume surge at the break of that neckline, you might expect a sharper decline. In that case, what you might want to do is adjust the price target downwards for a more aggressive profit taker. Or like we said, you can have multiple profit takers, right? You might, two profit takers might be better than one. So here's the example. You got your neckline, you got your breakout, and your minimum price target is going to be the neckline. Because again, you want, and the thing is, too, this is actually pretty solid. It's at least a 2-to-1 risk to reward, right? Because if you're getting involved here, if you're risking to the top of the shoulder, and you're getting involved based on the length between the head and the neckline. That's a pretty nice RR, I would say. So let's talk about some confirmatory indicators. Volume is going to be the most important confirmation because you want to see a volume decline as the right shoulder forms and then a volume expansion as the neckline is broken because sellers are involved there. They're all up in that, and they want all the smoke. Because risking volume on the rising volume in the breakout is going to strengthen the signal that we got to move down. So what about RSI? RSI can help confirm overbought conditions in the formation of the head and the right shoulder. So what you want to do, though, is look for a bearish divergence in the RSI when you've got the price making higher highs, so forming the head, but the RSI is making lower highs, because that can signal weakening momentum. What about moving averages? If you got the 50-day moving average in confluence with price, so if you've got price below the 50-day moving average with the neckline broken, that is going to be extra double juicy confluence, right? You've got a push below in price, you've got an increase in volume, and you're below a key moving average. All of that together is going to be probably an even stronger signal to sell. And it suggests that the pattern is bearish. Also, what about the MACD? MACD can make you jump, right? So you want to see a bearish crossover of the MACD line below the signal line during or just after the formation of the right shoulder. Because if you have that, you've got an even clearer signal of the momentum switching from bullish to bearish. So to summarize, the head and shoulders pattern is one of the most reliable signals of a trend reversal. Want to have volume to back that pattern up. And you can estimate your price objectives and your stops here by measuring the height of the pattern and projecting it from the neckline, but also the inverse head and shoulder. You're going to do the exact opposite. Instead of transitioning from uptrend to downtrend, transition from downtrend to uptrend. Also, thank you to JKL146 for the super chat. We missed this earlier, $5 super chat. I know you guys are day traders, but I'm searching for a JPAL would, quote, have to raise up 50 or cut by 50 points opposed to 25. I see him remaining conservative. I mean, we'll find out, right? We've had quite a few Fed speakers, and I think even JPAL saying that they're not really sure what they're going to do in terms of the amount of rates. So we'll have to find out. I remember there were some senators yesterday, too, saying that they want him to cut by 75 points. So really, we'll have to wait and see what he does. Maybe he won't cut by any. I think 25 makes sense. But I was seeing apparently this is like the most uncertain Fed meeting we've had. Usually there's a lot more certainty as to what the Fed's going to do. I think regardless, it'll be a spicy meeting. I don't know what your take is in the cut. But either way, guys, if you want to vote for the SPY, whatever thing you want to vote for, get in that chat. You have 8 minutes left to do so. Exclamation point, join, space, $, ticker, wet that beak, and be confident. I got stopped out of the SPY. I'm tempted to go short if we break below 561.80. Still kicking in the Palantir long. I wasn't able to move my stop, though, so I'm going to have to look at that. How are you doing?
Good. I love GLMD, and I hate Moderna. I hate myself for trading Moderna in this fashion, but I like myself don't love myself for this. This is a good trade on GLMD. I saw the tape really moving parabolic. I punched in as we zigged and zagged at 17, and I was able to take like 65 pennies at the top. I'm really happy. This was a bigger position for me, but obviously, as you can see, well off the top. Halted 1882. My last peak wetter at 1750. This thing is very strong. 366.33% up on the day. Wowie wowzers. This ZNTL trade I'm getting out of because it's curling rack down and I don't need that in my life. But this is a really directionally strong stock. It hasn't bamboozled you. I mean, just having a look here at the 5 minute and you can get a general idea of the trend. There hasn't been too much bamboozlement. Sure, you get a topping tail every now and again. I mean, that's normal with these type of stocks. Let's be realistic. This is a small cap gapper. It's around for a good time, not a long time. The fact that it's trading this consistently, to me, is a little unusual, especially during the midday, right? Like a lot of the times you'll open up the pre-market, 6, 7 a.m., whatever, you'll see this kind of pattern where there isn't that much bamboozlement with these small cap gappers. They tend to really like the pre-market, obviously, because there's no halt parameters in the pre-market. If you didn't know that, no volatility halt parameters, there still is that news pending halt parameter in the pre and the aftermarket. But GLMD looks like it was trading like it wasn't, or like a small cap gapper in the pre. So very happy with this one. Now let me show you now what I'm very disappointed in myself with. And let me tell you, I was warned about this by the Katina man. He told me, look short on Moderna. I didn't. I insisted in wanting to take it off VWAP. It is my biggest negative name on the day, far and away. And it is single-handedly why I am negative. Otherwise, I'd be positive on the day, very positive. But this stupid stock has bamboozled me. I bamboozled myself. I executed so poorly on this name. I had a bias, and I didn't change my bias despite it showing me that I should. So, yeah, there's just so many boneheaded entries. I don't even want to go through all of them again. But this is very badly done by me. I thought I saw, I guess, maybe some support at the 50 exponential. This is what I mean, or this is really like the prototypical look of grasping at straws. You had, I'm talking about myself, your level of support at VWAP. It broke VWAP. It started trading below it. Then, you got a couple of candles above it. All of a sudden, I'm feeling, okay, fantastic. We're going to start curling back up. Nuh-uh. And then I started seeing some support at the 50. So I'm like, all right, I'll base my longs on the 50. Nuh-uh. On the way down to 72, I traded this so poorly. So I'm very disappointed in myself for that. Proud of myself for GLMD. Hopefully I'll do better. Now, PLCE is not giving up the ghost. And let me tell you, GLMD's halted. So, the small cap traders got to go somewhere, baby. And so PLCE looks where they're piling into, Ram, because this is on the way up through 1650 right now. The high of the day on PLCE, 1719. But there was this area resistance, I want to say it's 16 1/3, that we just took out. So a bunch of rejections right here midday. We took that out. We're putting in higher highs and higher lows. Okay, GLMD's open and it just printed 1929 and not the year. Here we go, baby. Zigging and zagging at 19. GLMD was up over 400% at that top. It just dipped, wow, into 17. Bought up by 17, back up at 18.5. Oh, baby. I love these small cap gappers, man. It's like, I don't know. It's like 2020 all over again when there was like 50 of these per day. You'd open up your scanner in the morning, 7:30 a.m. There was 10. You'd come back at noon, and there was a new crop of 10. It was just, crazy. It was insane, Darren. They were all triple digits.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was. And people at the time, like the people that were following, the Katina man, Neil, others, they were like, this isn't normal. And to you, it's normal.
Yeah.
Because you walk into it, it's all you've seen, it's all you've known. You traded this market only. So it's like, until you get out of it, you don't really know that that's not normal. Anyway, GLMD doing a hell of a job today. I gotta guess, helping people make some money if you took this long, but if you took it short, maybe not so much. PLCE finding some resistance at the $0.50. Let's see how this one zigs and zags. There are about 13 minutes left in the show.
Yeah, guys, so that means you only have a few minutes left to vote. ! Join, space, $, ticker. But you know what else that means? It is coming up to the time.
Who is this Oscar guy thinking that I'm in the sim? I'm not in the sim, bro.
Oh, I am in the sim today.
No.
I've said, but only for today. We'll be
and like
live
it's
tomorrow.
so declaratory, and it's like so declaratory rather than asking.
I wasn't trying to make it. Oh, sorry, Ravine. I wasn't trying to make it. Whatever. I just wanted to explain. But anyways, good times there. I'm gonna get long Microsoft while we talk about this ticker or trade the pool. So thank you very much to our sponsors at Trade the Pool. So becoming a funding trader means trading with a firm's money instead of your own. At Trade the Pool, you'll first complete an evaluation by hitting profit targets while you're managing risk. And once you pass, guess what you get to do? You get access to up to $260,000 in buying power. That's awesome. And, Sharif, you get to keep up to 80% of your profits. Well, the firm covers the risk. It's the perfect way to trade big without risking your own funds. Are you ready to become a funded trader? Yay! Join Trade the Pool, scan the QR code, or click the link in the description. Shout out to their hat. Shout out to Michael Katz, who was on the show this morning. Shout out to him. People were enjoying his beard. In the chat, I saw that. So shout out to Michael. Also, shout out to Microsoft. Because this, I was trying to get short Microsoft 434. Before I got filled, the thing dropped 70 pennies. Now, the Adara of, if I'm being honest, probably earlier today, would have waited to get short that thing. But the Adara of now and hopefully the future was like, you know what? I don't trust that. That's a little sneaky. I think this could be a pop into the upside. So I've not gotten to set we're going to get stopped out of this right above 434.50. So I'm risking 50 cents, Sharif. I would like, I accidentally got out of the whole thing. Okay, cool. I mean, to be fair, we took profit on it. That was an issue where I meant to press 434.50 or 433.50s. I pressed 434.50s. I got stopped into the trade prematurely. That's my biggest issue I've had with my stop, ironically, is I accidentally fat fingered the stops, and then you get out of this trade right away. But it's all good. If we bounce here off like 25s, I'd be interested in this stock still. I have a feeling we won't, but it's all good there, baby. Microsoft, the idea was right. The execution was wrong and entirely my fault. Also, I should update y'all on my Palantir because we are no longer Palantir and Palantir. Basically, I need to figure out how to move my stop. So I'm using prior bar lows while I'm doing the lesson.
What happened?
Because I should have had this moved here. Like if the prior bar low, right, was here, I should have had this stop moved to like 30s. Instead, we got out at like 24. So that was not where I wanted to move. That's what happened there with that stock. Monty G saying, no way we bounce here. I mean, I don't know, Monty G. I agree with you. I think it'd be crazy to bounce here, but I also think it's worth noting SPY's at the pivotal level. And it's not just because I love this level. I love this level because this level exists. 562.50 on the SPY. If the SPY pops to 562.50 again, quite frankly, I am getting long once again. And I'm risking to 30. There we go. Okay, let's go. Let's see if we get filled there. Let's go. Okay.
Let's go.
Risking this into, we'll give this 25s. 27s. Let's not fat finger. There we go. We didn't fat finger. I'm so proud of us. Okay. Let's get it cracking. We are going to be taking some out here at 563s, and we're going to keep it peace. Basically, 562.50, that was that level where we had that really violent quadunk when Papa Powell took the mic on Jackson Hole Day. I literally said to Sharif, if SPY can't hold these levels, RIP. At the time, it was a massive double top. It was a whole level.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So that's why this level to me, I'm not saying this level is great because I love it. I love this level because the market's shown me it's a level of interest. And if the level market shows you things, you have to say, thank you, mother market. I will eat my supper, and I will not eat dessert unless you tell me I can. I will do my chores. And you want to, respect Mother Market. She'll respect you. Mother Market's respecting 562.50. So that's why I'm long this one.
Mother Market.
Yet again, let's see, though, if we get a higher high, because if we don't, I might have to say bye. Shout out to NSYNC. How you doing over here?
Adara, GLMD is halted yet again. And this time, it's not that big of a move. It's up only about 442%, halted at exactly $21 dang dollars. Shout out, man, to Dominic. He's printing up a storm. I was able to get into this one a couple of times. I'm positive on it. I'm very happy on it. But obviously, you're always angry as a dang trader because you don't have enough size. You don't have the bottom. You don't have the top. There's always a reason for you to be grumpy about something. But anyway, this has been a hell of a name today. Halted $21.
I was talking to Ram.
I had no idea what was going on there.
She was talking to me in my ear, and I was trying to communicate that I understood.
Yeah, I was like, what is happening?
I'm sorry. Carry on. As you were.
Good. Thank you, Adara. Yeah, no, seriously, though, beautiful break through that 19. Like it zigged and zagged a little bit at that 19. You can see topping tailed through 19. A quarter is tanked, quadunked. This is this is going to be this is like, yeah, obviously this is a huadunk. If you move up to 19 and a third and you come down into 16 and 3/4, that's a huadunk. But the huadunk was bought up with aggression, with a lot of determination here by buyers. $21 halted, $20.99. Let me tell you what the theoretical auction price is in a hot minute over here. GLMD is the stock we're talking about, and the top is $21. So it hasn't changed. It's exactly where we left it off. And this is a NASDAQ name, so I should be able to see the TAP in case you're wondering what TAP is. Theoretical auction price, essentially an auction system while something is halted. So the amount of buy orders are paired to the amount of sell orders coming in. If there's an excess amount, then it shows you a higher print. If there is more sell orders than buy orders, you'll see a negative print. So it's kind of like what we do with the imbalances. When the Katina man tells you what the imbalances are prior to that bell, they're trying to pair those orders. That's the move. That's the job of the exchange, to pair the orders and make sure the market is efficient. Sometimes, obviously, there's just too much on one side for them to pair. And so that's what we talk about when we're talking about the theoretical auction price. It's showing you what it likely will open at once it's open based on the current demand and supply of the shares. So I just want to talk about that because we've been trading some of these small cap gappers a lot more lately. It behooves us to be able to talk about it. So I've got a minute left on the show over here before I weasel my way up at Ram to the green screen and gesticulate wildly. So let's have a look at some of these large caps because I barely even looked at the large cap stocks on the day. Without exception, there are no exceptions. Or, sorry, one exception. All right, GLMD's open again, so I'm going to have to shut up and talk about GLMD. It's all the way up, $23, $23.11, possible false halt here at $23.11. Watch out for the bottom to drop. It looks like it's going to halt here. Let's see, a few more seconds. It needs about 5 more seconds. 2, 1, go gray. Not like my hair, go gray. Come on. It might drop. Why are we halting? What's going on over here? Oh, there we go. Now we get the halt. So halted at $23.11. It was halted at 21. It is now $2 higher, and it is about 500% in the green. I'm going to leave you guys with the following information, just so you have an idea. With this latest 500% pump, the market cap on this stock now is 14.87 million. It's traded 83.5 million shares on the day. And the float, according to IBKR, is 6,125,000. 6,125,000. I'll get that right. I'm sorry. And let's check out the short float. 6.56% according to Trade Ideas. They have a markedly different float than what I have on IBKR. They're saying 510,000. IBKR is saying 6.1 million shares. I'll leave you guys with that. I hope everybody prints up multiple storms on this Adara. And once it's halted, I hope it continues to go up and everybody prints. I'll see everybody at the green screen.
Yeah, shout out to Sharif. Thank you so much for what you do. Also, I appreciate you being a good sport about the gesticulating wildly, because that has been basically the running joke there. I was like, Sharif will talk at the green screen. He's like, or stand at the green screen. He's like, I would just stand. He does gesticulate wildly. And also, Sean and Neil look at the tickers you chose. Wasn't that great? That's awesome. So, that is what is happening there. Also, I want to say here with regards to the SPY, I am still on the SPY. I added to the SPY because I liked what I saw in the book at 562.70. Was that a bit aggressive? Perhaps. Are we maybe ranging? Sure. But I still have my stop in place. My stop was going to be 562.25s, and that was just based on levels I liked, bless you, on the book. But it also happens to be prior bar low, so that actually works out pretty sweet. I'm not going to move it. I would love to see us break above 563, at which point I will take out a fifth of my total position. I can live with that. I like that. Now, will we get that? I highly doubt it. Like I said, I'm not going to stay in trades beyond the bulk of the show. Again, I was in the sim today due to some mistakes made, but you know what? You live and you learn. I think today my brain was in like a blender. I honestly am not happy with the trading I did today in the sim or live, but you know what? Tomorrow's a new day. We're going to come back even stronger. And that is why, you know what, I'm honest here not to be negative. I'm honest here because I think it's really important, because I know, you know, everyone's going through their own trading journey, and I think it would be remiss of me. I think it behooves me to be upfront about that. So good times there. Crazy moves today, says RHY. I certainly agree. Tony Price saying, great show as always. Thank you very much, Tony. Appreciate you being here. And also, let's see what the price is right now, pun intended, on SoFi, because I know SoFi is one you look at sometimes, I believe. Okay. That was an aggressive pushback for an aggressive move in SoFi. SoFi, slightly higher high here. Then we fall to the downside, and we have this beautiful support resistance flip at 818s. Then we quadunk. Then we form a bit of a bottom here at 808s, and then slowly push our way back to the upside. Now, I would like to see what we do here at 822s. Why? We know SoFi can do these support resistance flips at 818. Now we're at that 822s level. I would like to see what this red candle does. Do we close this 5-minute candle in 2 minutes above 822? I think if we do, there's a nice look for SoFi. If not, I would watch out for 818, not just because it is VWAP, but also because it's this area where we had that previous support and that previous resistance. Vikyan Novak saying I can't read saying that they can't read the market today. Honestly, same. I feel like I've had a really rough read, and I think you know what one thing that's great though about this community, like I said, I feel really blessed to be here, is that we're all here trying to read this market together. People are going to have different reads. People are going to have different opinions. They're going to have different takes, but you have to go with what makes the most sense for you. Take the balance of the evidence. Your opinion, analyst opinions, the price action, the book, what you hear from everybody, take that all together and figure out how it all goes. Pretty Panda mentioning talk, so we're going to talk about talk before we let you guys go. 50 or like 45 seconds left. Okay. Yeah, talk's an interesting one. This one I put on the small cap recap, actually. We were in a gorgeous uptrend, and then talk is like, oh, Sharif wants to trade me. It's like 10:35. Nah, I'm going to quit. That's cool. But I will say, right now, it is almost following both Sharif's small cap rules. It is almost above VWAP, and it certainly is above its pre-market high. So we'll have to see if we talk about talk tomorrow. But right now, we're done talking for the day, guys. We will see you tomorrow. It'll be the same bat time and the same bat channel. For now, we'll have Sean on his birthday in this afternoon show with Neil. Sean and Neil giving you their takes. And we have Sharif with the green screen. Let's go, guys. See you.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. Neil and Sean are